Okay, umpires in charge here today. Colin Rouston, Theron Philp and Chris Carey were just about to start. We've got Norwood going towards the northern end and down towards the parade end. Obviously, we have Central District. Umpire holds the ball up high. He literally throws it up and up they go. Paul Scudder gets the first tap out and no one able to burst their way clear as Scotty Borlace grabbed it, but he's all wrapped up and there will be a ball up to get play underway once again. So we've played just on 15 seconds of this opening quarter down here at the parade. Absolutely superb conditions. Welcome to our broadcast around Adelaide and on the internet too. There's Gags Gallagher in there. Is he going to show the mouth guard? No, not this time. Umpire Colin Rouston comes in and says it's mine once again. And once again, Scotty Borlace getting up off the bottom of that pack. Umpire Rouston throws it up. It was Meeson who was shepherded out on that occasion by the big bloke in Scudder. Went with the hand pass. Umpire Rouston says it better cut back and go behind your mark. Goes with the hand pass across to Bailey onto his left foot. Looking further afield. Oh, Central District too strong, deep in defence. There is Borlace once again on the bottom of that pack 3 times. He's been down there and he might get a free kick out of this. 45 metres out from goal. He'll be at an angle. And we'll just wait for the ball to come back now to Scotty Borlace, state captain this year?
Yep.
This year, yeah.
Yep, Foss Williams medalist last year.
And been a wonderful player at that level and probably one of the best players to have played in the SANFL in the recent era anyway that hasn't gone on and played in the AFL. John, see if you can steer this one through.
We will. Scotty Borlace looking for the opening goal. In actual fact, the opening score will be in this contest as well. 45 metres out. His kick is working its way from right to left. It might hold its line. To matter if it's got the distance, it's got the accuracy, and it did get the distance. It's a very important opening goal there to the Norwood Football Club. Scotty Borlace playing game number 154. Kicks goal number 158, so he's on a par to maintain his average of 1 goal per game, and a good opening, a good positive opening for the Norwood Footy Club, Matty Dawes.
Definitely. Borlace is one of those players who's been extremely consistent over the last 5 or 6 years, and for a bloke who's only 25 years of age, he's very stiff not to have a bit of an AFL gig, but still playing really well year in, year out.
He could theoretically play 300 if he wanted to keep going. Not many will these days in the SANFL, and he's got his head over the ball again, has Borlace. Couldn't take possession on that occasion. James Gowans could for Central's fed over to Swatala. He'll kick it forward to Chris Gowans. Takes the mark, feeds off to Elijah Ware. He's going to chip one short. Inside 50, looking for the running Lee Westhoff. Strongly tackled by Zorzi on that occasion. He's a welcome addition back into this Norwood defensive unit. Pleaded for holding the ball, but the umpire said nothing doing on this occasion, and he will come down and bounce it down. Umpire Chris Carey, 30 metres out from the Doggies' goal. McKenzie taps it back into a dangerous position in front of the goal. It's picked up now by Lee Westhoff. Goes by hand to Slade. He'll go backwards outside of 50 towards Luke Cowan. Cowan kicks at 45 metres, and believe it or not, it's still outside forward 50 for his side, and it's picked up now by Carslake. He sends Norwood to the outer wing now. It's Jamie Vlatko leading the chase for the ball and leads. Quinton Graham, a merry chance on that occasion, takes possession, kicks it inside 50 lower, is caught behind, playing up forward. He was named in the back pocket, but playing up forward on his corresponding number 10 and former power player was Stewie Cochran. Won the resultant free kick on that occasion, released it to the grandstand side of the ground where James Gowans takes possession, goes short, finds the wingman there in Lee Westhoff. He'll run onto his natural left foot. His kick is errant though, and the mark will be taken for Norwood by the opening goal kicker of the game in Scotty Borlace. He'll send his side forward, this time by hand. Links up with Gallagher in a 1-2 and then goes to Meeson. Looks for it back again, but instead it's a bit of circle work. Brett James to Gallagher, and Norwood go laterally to the outer side of the ground. Will be taken now by Bartamucci. Steps inside Thomas rather easily and then just chips one inside 50. And has spotted up a player there who'll get a shot on goal. I think it's Bryce Campbell. Yes, it is. Bryce Campbell as he turns around. He'll line up for goal. 50 metres out, almost directly in front. Matty Dawes knows him better than us. I think he can get the journey. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. He's a decent-sized kick price. He's actually quite a prolific goal scorer, probably more so this year than other years, and having a fantastic year.
Waiting now for Campbell. Played in the state team earlier this year. Boy from Canberra. In he comes. Kicks from 51 metres. That is a beautiful looking kick.
Great kick.
Got the distance. No worries. And he's put it through. That is the second goal here to the Redlegs. 2 goals straight. That's 12. Central District yet to score. 5 minutes into the opening quarter. Our game here for station sponsors Eagle Paint and Panel. And more comments from former Norwood Vice Captain Matt Dawes.
Yeah, grew up in Wagga, Bryce Campbell. He's still only a young fella. Probably one of the hardest competitors getting around in the SNFL, and I think most of the other opposition players would really rate his defensive game. Probably lays as many tackles as anyone in this competition.
Do you fear him at training, Matt?
No.
No. There's the ball up to get play underway. Up they go. No one able to get the tap out. Swatada's got it. He's brought to the ground by Brett James. There's ball ace on the bottom of the pack again. That's 4 times in the opening 5 minutes he's been on the bottom of a pack. Hasn't been able to get the ball out on those occasions.
It's a good sign, isn't it?
It is a good sign, but he's had a couple of very significant touches too. He's kicked the goal, as we know. There's the ball up. It's Scola who gets the tap out, picked up here by Slade. Drives it in towards centre half forward. His target down there is the taller of the 2 Westhoffs. It bounces out of his hands, tapped away there by the player in Bailey. Bailey down towards the wing. Nice, well-weighted kick on now to Campbell. He gets around his opponent, went for a bounce. The ball actually bounced up and he lost control of it. Brunelli picks it up though, swings it in towards the teeth of goal. It's only about 15 metres out now. Big Koshel's in there. He couldn't pick it up and the ball's gone across the line and out of bounds. Big Adam Koshel, somebody told me the other day there's 1 or 2 AFL clubs actually talking with him. 19 years of age, 199 centimetres. He's got a little bit of height, John.
Yeah, saw his debut game at, I think it was Norwood Oval was his first game, wasn't it, Matty? And he was particularly impressive when he was introduced into the contest at half-time. Kicked about 3 second-half goals and made a difference to that Norwood forward line that day.
He's got a real presence up forward. He's one of those guys that you can seem to jump into from every angle and you just can't move him. He's just got to work on his kicking. He'll be a fantastic player.
As we, Norwood have an opportunity to score now. Koshel actually taps it down. It comes, well, there's a chance to perhaps pick it up and get a shot on goal, but the boundary line won out, as did about 4 central defenders before the Norwood player on the outer side. It might be Brunoli had the opportunity to pick possession of the ball up and get a shot on goal. So boundary throw in again. Koshel down towards Vlatko. His handball is just more so in hope than structure, and it's given Centrals an opportunity. Someone taken high there. No, the umpire said play on that occasion. It may have looked like initially a free kick to Adrian Wilson, but play on was the call. So again, we'll see another stoppage some 5 or 6 metres out from the Central's goal now, from the Norwood goal. It's Mackenzie and also no Sculler down there taking the tap on this occasion. Picked up for Centrals now. They'll clear the defensive area through Andrew Hayes. Not quite out of defensive 50. James Gowans picks up the ball. He's going to do so again now. Slick hands over to Ware. Likewise to Chris Gowans. The doggies are out of defensive trouble now, and a short chip to the outer centre wing where big Luke Cowan takes the mark. Outer centre wing here at the parade. He's going to swing it in ball. Quinton Graham has made some space for him. Goes by hand now to Chris Gowans. His kick is a chip one, a short one, to Elijah Ware. He's played on. No, Adrian Wilson it is. The umpire says, you're gone, you've got to play on, son. He does so. Feeds it out to Stewie Cochran, and he's under a lot of pressure now from Jamie Vlatko at the moment. The umpire will come in and bounce it down. Grandstand centre wing here at Norwood Oval. A good result defensively for Norwood at that point in time. They lead in the early stages here, 2 goals straight. Central Districts are yet to score, and we've played 8 minutes in the first quarter for Eagle Paint and Panel.
And we find Norwood now with possession. Matthew Thomas played with the power last week down at Geelong. Kicks the ball down towards the half-forward line. We find it's going to be Norwood once again in control. Nick Lower has it and gets it across there to Vlatko. Vlatko, the former Glenelg boy, a centering kick right up towards the teeth of goal. Koshel's held from behind. In opposition there to Zibadala. And Adam Koshel will go back and have a shot for goal about 25 metres out, almost directly in front. And a chance now to bring up the 3rd goal of the afternoon for Norwood. Centrals at this time have not troubled the scorers. Another comment from Matt Dawes.
Yeah, as I was mentioning before, Adam Koshel, still only 19 years of age, but very handy up there up forward. I think another interesting thing to watch will be the interaction between Bryce Campbell and the Central District side today.
There's the kick for goal.
The Gowans boys.
Got a nice action too, and really kicked right through that ball. He's put it through for the 3rd goal of the afternoon. Norwood 3 goals straight, 18 for Eagle Paint and Panel, and Central District yet to score. And as we say, this is a cliche. It's going to be a cliche afternoon, we're hoping anyway. But it's just what the coach wanted, Matthew Dawes.
Exactly, no, it's a perfect start for the Redlegs. There are 3 goals to nothing at the moment. They just seem to be getting their hand on the footy first, as we've mentioned. Scotty Borlace really in and under, and been a pretty good contributor so far, but even those balls that haven't been moved forward, he's the one with his hand on the footy.
Adam Koshel standing at 199 centimetres is going to be a handful for any SNFL side to pick up in their defensive end of the ground. It's the doggies going forward now through Ware, kicks it towards half forward. Cowan was well positioned to take the mark. He spilled the beans though on that occasion, didn't take the ball cleanly. And Norwood, well, looked like clearing the ball. They've turned it over now. Big buckets. Mackenzie goes by hand to James Gowan. Centrals will score here. Justin Westhoff will get the opening shot on goal for the doggies, and he dribbles one through before Zorzi could cover the ground to actually get a hand on it to stop it going through. and young Justin Westhoff, who's very reminiscent the way he moves of young Andrew Mackey, who's stationed at Geelong now, kicks the opening goal of the game for the Central District Football Club. They are 1 goal straight. Norwood are 3 goals 18, and it took a turnover in the end, Matty Dawes, for Centrals to be able to look like scoring.
Yeah, definitely a handy one for Centrals. Just had the steady. Norwood had all the run there in that first 10 minutes, and both Westhoff boys getting their hand on the footy early.
Umpire throws the ball up they go. The tap out on this occasion to Neeson. But it's going to be Centrals who drive the ball in towards centre half forward. One of the Gowans boys is there, but Bailey beats him. In fact, both the Gowans boys are there. I thought it was only one. I thought I was seeing double for a moment. But it was Bailey. Got it across there to his teammate in Borlase. And a good mark. Good kick too. Adam Koshel has taken another mark, this time in front of Zibadala. And the youngster, 19 years of age, lining up for his second goal for the afternoon on a 45-degree angle.
His
kicking
height's
towards the northern
definitely
end.
worrying Sibanala, isn't it? 8 centimetres he's got on him, and he's, even the way he's grabbing him after taking that mark, he's worried about his height.
The ball's coming in often, and it's coming in well, isn't it? And he comes. There's the kick. Gone across the face this time. Got onto it pretty well, but it's gone across the face and out of bounds on the full. So not a good kick. Got some distance with it. Norwood still lead 3 goals straight, 18 Central District, 1 goal straight, 6. Our big game down here for station sponsors Eagle Paint and Panel. And the ball is on the half-back line, and it looks like one of the Gowans boys. No, it's not. It is Swatala who's got that one down towards the wing. Oh, players going in very hard there. That was Justin Westhoff, but taken away by Bailey. A big high kick. Up they go. A good mark in defence. Paul Sculler, as he's done so often in his years at Central District, takes a relieving mark deep in defence for the Bulldogs.
Swings it to the outer side of the ground. James Gowans takes the mark. Just perched in front of the Eagle Paint and Panel scoreboard there, which is Norwood 3 goals straight. It says Central's a 1 goal straight. It's come back now to Sculler, mucking around with the ball in the back half of the ground. He's put Wilson under some pressure here, and Hayes involved now as well. Turn the ball over, Norwood have. A linking up now between Brett James and Koshel sends Norwood again inside 50. The central player there is a Thomas, spilled the mark, but he's won the ball at ground level with a free. Bartamucci slipped into his back, so Centrals will relieve the pressure now. Again, not going direct, heading out to the outer side of the ground now through Sculler and also James Gowans. His kick, looking for Wilson out wide. It went very wide. It was almost out of bounds on the full, but Wilson narrowly got his fingertips to it before it traversed across the boundary line, so it will be thrown in. Still forward of centre for the Norwood Football Club, who are doing the bulk of the attacking thus far in the game. But they've given the free away on this occasion. Sculler, who was in front, has won the free kick against Nicholas. So, excuse me, he'll take the free kick across half back and slip it short to Adrian Wilson, son of Wilbur. But still camped in the defensive end of the ground for Central Districts. They're just not being very direct today, which is very un-Centrals-like thus far. Ware now takes possession of the ball. He's going to look to chip short as well to Gowans. He does now. It's Chris, I think, who takes the mark. It's still about 95 metres out from the Doggies' goal. Now he'll go to that spot. That X marks the spot inside 50. Shell led there, as does Cowan, but neither of them were able to affect the marking contest before Matty Thomas took possession for Norwood. Feeds the ball by hand now out to Crouch. Luke Crouch, he sends it out wide to the outer side of the ground. Ware and also Bartamucci involved in the contest there, but in the end, it is the boundary line that will win out. We've played 13 and a half minutes here at the Parade, or Cooper Stadium as it's now known, and Norwood lead it by 2 straight kicks.
The sun is shining out here now too. It's got in between the cloud, come out from behind the clouds. Ball tapped in the direction of Brett James. It comes out to him. James now goes with that left-handed hand pass. Gets it across here to Bailey. Bailey, the blonde-headed surfy lookalike, got the ball out in the direction now of Big Tim Nicholas, and he lumbers along the outer wing. Sends a skimming pass in the direction there of his teammate in Culpet, but the ball's been knocked across the line and out of bounds on the centre wing, outer side of the ground, right near one of the big light towers. But superb conditions here this afternoon, and we're watching a pretty entertaining game. Norwood 3 goals straight, 18. Central's 1 goal straight, 6. We've played 14 minutes of the opening quarter, and Norwood going forward once again, coming down towards the half-forward line. It comes off hands. Westhoff has got the front position. He doesn't get there in time. Nick Lower does, though. He gets the hand pass out to James Gallagher. The former Adelaide Crow goes in with a nice little left-foot kick in the direction of Borlase. It landed just in front of him. He got an awkward bounce. Will be taken away here by Central District through Paul Thomas, who will find one of the Gowans boys. That one is James. Down towards half-forward he goes. Looks for Cowan. Good mark too, because he had the sun right in his eyes and took the mark in opposition to the smiling dentist in Nick Jackman. Cowan playing on right up here in the direction of Daniel Shell. And the winner of the Ken Farmer medal for the past 2 years has taken a good chess mark, only about 25 metres out from goal, and a chance to open up his account for the day. And I thought he'd kick more goals this year, John, but he's only kicked the 22, but a chance for number 23. But you'd have to back him from here, Matthew Dawes.
He's a class player, Daniel Shell, as you mentioned, twice Ken Farmer medalist, and a great kick by Luke Cowan as well. Just put it on the attacking side, and Shell easily held out Zorsey there.
There's the kick for goal. I think he's put it through, judging by the cheering from the red, white and blue supporters. Yes, he has. So Central District move on that at 2 goals straight, 12. Still trading Norwood, 3 goals straight, 18. And we've played just on 15 minutes of the opening quarter. The action down here at Norwood Oval for Eagle Paint and Panel. Doing special comments here for this afternoon, former Norwood Vice-Captain Matthew Dawes. And Matt, a pretty entertaining game of football.
Definitely. Central's probably just steadied in the last couple of minutes. At the start, Norwood really seemed to have all the run and looked like they could have blown out to about a 5 or 6 goal win there or lead there for a while. But just wrestled back the ascendancy, and Danny Shell just slotting through the second one for Centrals.
And some scores from around the grounds, Doug. Certainly, firstly, interstate, it is a close one there at the Telstra Dome. The West Coast Eagles are 7-8-50, leading Collingwood 7-5-47. Good game of footy over at Alberton. It is North Adelaide by the solitary point. They are 5-1-31, and Port Adelaide are 5 straight goals 30. Whilst down at Unley, it is all the Eagles, 5 goals straight 30 as well, leading Sturt on 1-1-7. And at Glenelg Oval, it is Westies 1-1-7, leading Glenelg, who are on 2 behinds.
Snapshot for goal there by Andrew Hayes, the boy who was a Sydney rookie but grew up playing rugby as a fairly recent convert to Australian rules. He's off target with that one, though, and through for a minor score. 5 points the margin, though. Norwood still in front, 3 goals straight to Central District 2-1, but a free kick to one of the Gowans boys. Now, if you're hearing us say one of the Gowans boys, it's just the fact that they're identical twins, and unless they turn around, they don't give us any chance. In fact, this one is Chris Gowans, because I can see James a little bit further down, unless they've changed jumpers, and we wouldn't know. Chris Gowans now lining up, and they kick pretty much the same way too. They're normally beautiful kicks for goal, and I think he's off target with that one. Surprisingly, he's normally a beautiful kick. Central's 2-2-14, trading Norwood 3 goals straight, 18, and here we are at the 17-minute mark of the opening quarter. John.
As the Norwood bring the ball out of the back half of the ground now, it's going to come out through Bailey, who go short. Now out of side of the ground, released now with possession of the ball is Jackman, the former South Adelaide player, comes in short and finds Matty Thomas, still inside the defensive side of the ground for his club. He's going to go inboard, got to play a free. Dead set in the middle of the ground inside the centre circle is Carslake. Takes possession and plays on, links up with Colpert to gain an extra 25 metres, and now sends the ball inside 51 for the high flyers. Vlatko's well set, bundled out of the way by Graham, but fairly, says the umpire on that occasion, and Sculler takes the mark, relieves the pressure for Central Districts now through Slade, who kicks out to the outer side of the ground, and Big Buckets McKenzie takes the ball safely in the chest on the outer centre wing here for the Doggies. He's going to kick it long and strong up, looking for the leader, Shell. Zorsey does well just to nudge him underneath that contest. Ware soccers the ball forward, but Jackman, cast in the role of a quarterback at the moment without an opponent, takes possession of the ball comfortably and delivers the ball effectively to the big ruckman in Johnny Meeson, and then runs back to feed the handball off him, and then feeds a Port-listed player on this occasion in Matty Thomas. He's going to chip short, looking for Jackman, who's running hard and without an opponent at the moment, and takes his third possession in this piece of play for the Norwood Football Club. He's going to kick it long towards half forward. It's going to be a contest there, Koshel and Sibanaila. Sibanaila does well enough on that occasion to affect the spoil. Bryce Campbell picks up the crumbs, kicks it towards half forward. Colpert will keep his head over the ball, he does, and slips it forward for Norwood to Vlatko, to Gallagher by hand, kicks it in towards the goal square, lower, well positioned to take the mark, put the left mid out but just couldn't clasp it in on that occasion, and the Doggies will relieve the pressure now. Wilson stands tall under pressure, links up with Thomas, and now also Swatala, who'll feed the ball back to Thomas by hand. Some good hard running there from Paul Thomas, the Magarey medalist, and kicks it out long and wide, where Daniel Shell takes the mark 75 metres out for the Doggies. Wheels inboard, kicks it to that familiar spot. Where is Cowan? No, it's gone over his head. And the Norwood skipper in Brett James takes possession of the ball. Inside defensive 50, links up now with Ball Ace, who does likewise with Carslake. And the legs are out of defensive trouble. They lead it by 4 points as we approach the time on period in the first quarter.
Carslake, he had 4 Norwood players to kick to, but kick to a central player in the middle. It's just one of those ones, a little skill error just like that. It can undo so much good work. And James Gowans it was who took the mark. Feeds off the hand pass to Paul Thomas. His kick wasn't all that good either. He's normally a very, very good kick. This time Norwood's working hard in defence. James Gallagher was in there.
Well
he went with the hand pass, got it out there to his teammate in Jackman. Jackman, who's been a great player this year, gets it on there to Gallagher once again. Another hand pass to Brunoli. On there to Brett James. Brett James, a big, long kick right up in towards the teeth of goal. Koshel there in opposition to Zibanata. No one able to take the mark. The ball's on the ground. A hand pass comes out. Norwood now with a chance. Can they make something of this? I don't think they will, because Chris Gowans has come in across half back to feed off the hand pass here to Wilbur's son. This is Adrian Wilson back from Essendon. Feeds the hand pass across to Elijah Ware. Elijah Ware couldn't take the mark though. Couldn't grab the ball. Intercepted by, it was that's not Jackman. It was, who was that? Dygan. That's the boy, yeah. Over there to Culpit, back in the centre of the ground. It's going from one end to the other. Brett James now feeds it out here now to Bailey. He's going to kick from 45 metres, and I reckon he might dob this one. There's the kick right up. Oh, no, he's gone across the face of goal, and it's out of bounds. There will be a throw-in. Norwood 3 goals straight, 18. Central's 2-2, 14. And Matthew Dawes, a lot of hard work by Norwood, but no real result.
Definitely. I think Central's really lifted a notch in this last 5 minutes, and as we were saying before, it was quite stagnant. They're really starting to get some run going now.
Koshel and also Sculler too good on that occasion. Taps the ball down. It's picked up by Brunoli. His shot on goal, though, won't swing around enough, though, and it's the opening minor score to Norwood on their points tally in this opening quarter. They move on to 3 goals, 1, which totals 19 now. They're leading the Doggies, who are 2-2-14, 21 minutes played in the first quarter as Ware clears the ball out for Norwood, kicks it to the grandstand centre wing. Again, it's over the head of Cowan and over the boundary line. And Luke Cowan, well, just having trouble reading the flight of the ball at the moment, getting caught underneath the footy on more than one occasion at the moment. So we'll just keep an eye on that, see how things settle down for him in the later stages of the game. He's not looking entirely comfortable out there. In actual fact, a bit proppy at the moment. So that could be a blow to the Central side going forward for the rest of this match. A boundary throw in now. Ball Ace again involved in the ball, getting his head over the footy. Can't take an effective possession. Culper trying to do likewise now for Norwood. He too, well, he's sitting on this one. He could go for holding the ball. You could see Colin Ralston there was just sitting on it, waiting to pay the decision. Culprit was making the play, but that's the modern day rule. Whether it's the right one or not remains to be seen. And Chad O'Sullivan will take the resultant free kick now for Central Districts. Kicks it to the top of the square. Coming out is Westhoff. He's going to mark it unopposed in the end. Justin Westhoff read the flight of the ball a bit better than young Nick Dygan, and will line up for goal some 25 metres out, directly in front of the southern goal. Should not present too much difficulty. And as I said before, there's just a little bit of Andrew Mackey about this lad. Of course, Justin Westhoff is a bit taller, but Mackey taken high up somewhat surprisingly in the draft by Geelong a few years ago. And the word around the street is that perhaps Justin Westhoff might do likewise in the draft at the end of this year, as he pops through his second goal for the game from directly in front. And for the first time in this contest, Central Districts hit the front. They now are 3 goals, 2-20, leading Norwood 3-1-19. A point the difference, 22 minutes played. Matty Dawes.
I think we're underestimating that low winter sun as Centrals are going forward. I think in that last occasion, Luke Cowan just had a bit of trouble trying to sight the ball into the sun, but the way that ball angled in there to Westhoff had no problems taking the mark out in front of Nick Dygan.
I make it that Westhoff draws level now with Daniel Scheller, Central's leading goal kicker this year, both sitting on 23 apiece. This time Central's get the ball out of the centre. They drive down towards half forward. Gowans is in there, so is Elijah Ware. Neither able to pick it up. In fact, it was Gallagher who picked it up. Got it across, and the ball is kicked out of bounds on the full there by the player in Luke Crouch. Brother of Jared, of course, up there at Sydney, who missed his first game for years just the other week. As the resultant free kick's taken by Wilson. He plays on, went with a hand pass across to O'Sullivan, back to Wilson. A big left foot kick. Kicks right up in towards the full forward position. Up they go. Thomas was up there, the young defender from Norwood. Scotty Ball Ace has got it. He's all wrapped up though, and there will be a ball up. About 25 metres out from the Central District goal. They lead at the moment by 1 point in a pretty good game of football down here at the parade for Eagle Paint and Panel. It's Central's 3-2, Norwood 3-1. The action back now with James Gowans, feeds the hand pass out to Swatata, comes out now to big Luke Cowan. Cowan goes backwards and finds Brad Curry. You wouldn't have seen that done years ago, but the way that players do it now, very, very effective. He lost ground, but he's found a teammate in a better position, and Curry, that's a thumping kick right up in towards the teeth of goal. Comes off hands. Elijah Ware, absolutely brilliant. Scouting the pack and picking up the ball and just dodging around an opponent, and he's put it through, and Central's go that little further ahead. 4-2-26 on the Eagle Paint and Panel scoreboard, leading Norwood 3-1-19. He really is a class act, young Elijah Ware, but Central's in control at the moment. Matthew Dawes.
Definitely, Elijah Ware is a class forward, real opportunist there, and it was a perfect Rovers goal, exactly what the coach would be proud of. Positioned himself front and centre, had a little bit of pace, and I think stepped around Nick Dygan there in the goal square and put through an easy goal.
So Norwood kicking the opening 2 goals in this game, and Central's coming back with the previous 3 now to open up their highest lead of the game thus far, 7 points. They inch it forward from that centre square contest. Bailey charges at it from a Norwood perspective, takes possession of the ball, tried to find the boundary line. He didn't though, only found Swatala, who did likewise with O'Sullivan. Wilson sends it inside 50. Shell bundles out Zorzi, but the umpire says nothing in that. Jackman takes the relieving defensive mark for Norwood, sends it to the outer side. Ball bounces somewhat obligingly for Carslake, who controlled it well. Fed it short now to big Johnny Meeson, who's running to the outer side of the ground there. Kicks it long for Norwood. A long lead coming out there from Vlatko on that occasion. He almost kneed up towards Borlace, who centres the ball intelligently if it can hit its target. It didn't quite. Still a chance here for Norwood. No numbers went out in the end for Central. It was a contest in that centre forward position, won by Central's. James Gowans releases Thomas now through the middle of the ground. He kicks wide for Ware. He's going to chip it inside 50, looking for Shell. Missed his mark, but Shell took it cleanly on the bounce. Then he was well tackled by Zorzi on that occasion. Ware comes back and takes possession of the ball again. Shot on goal from Elijah Ware. Drifts across the face of the goal and hits the behind post. We'll see it thrown in front of the players' race there at the southern end of Norwood Oval. The Dogs are leading it at the moment, 4-2-26. Norwood are 3-1-19. 25 minutes played for Eagle Paint and Panel in the first quarter here at Cooper Stadium.
Sunny conditions too. It was cloudy earlier, but sunny now. Matthew Thomas, the young Port Power listed player, has the ball, drives it out towards the half-back line. The race is on for it. Swatata grabs it though for Centrals. Went with a hand pass in the direction of Daniel Shell, wearing the long sleeves today. Gets it back to Swatata. Onto his left foot on this occasion. Up they go. Meeson went to take a big one, but slipped at the crucial moment. It lands in the hands there of Westhoff, the taller of the two lads, and that's his 3rd goal for this opening quarter. Sensational start. He's a hard player to match up on. 19 years of age, 197 centimetres, and Justin Westhoff has kicked his 3rd, and in fact it is the 5th goal to Central District. 5-2-32. Norwood 3-1-19. And for Eagle Paint and Panel, let's get more comments from former Norwood Vice-Captain Matthew Dawes.
He's another one of the Central's opportunists. Like you said, he's actually overtaken Danny Shell now as the leading goal kicker for Central's this season. And I know Norwood was definitely worried about him going into this game, and he can be a real match winner, kind of almost like a Stewie Jew, where he can have 8 kicks for the game and kick 6 goals and win it in the last quarter. So they really need to watch him in the next probably 3 quarters of this game. Really keep an eye on him.
We'll get some scores from around the grounds in a moment with John Simons. There's the ball up. Young Jonathan Griffin, the young Crow-listed player, went very high, got the tap out. But Brett James, a former Crow, takes the ball away. Hand passes out here to Scott Borlace, who's had a pretty good first quarter. There's his kick right up in towards the teeth of goal. Comes off hands. It's only about 20 metres out from the Norwood goal. They desperately need something. Central's in control at the moment, but Norwood have got control of the ball at this very moment. Scotty Carslake went with a hand pass, got it across there to Culpert. Culpert's kick for goal. There's going to be a free kick. It will go the way of Central District, I think. Deep in defence, Koshal and Zibadana wrestling there for that ball, and Eve Zibadana will take the resultant free kick. 13 points the margin. Central District in front as we approach quarter time. John Simons.
Kick there from Griffin, heads up to almost towards Matty Dawes there. Put the thumbs out in front of the eyes to try and take that one as it went out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will come back for Norwood now. It's well, they've mucked this one up, that's for certain. Crouch kicked it short, came off the boot there at Campbell. So Centrals win the free kick now for out of bounds on the full. The update on the score at Unley Oval. The Eagles off to an absolute flyer. 8 goals up on Sturt already. 9-1-55. Dominating the Double Blues, who are 1-1-7 late in the first quarter out there at Unley Oval as Centrals head the ball to the outer centre wing. It's taken now by Chris Gowans. Chips it up towards half forward. Cowan playing in front of Bailey. Takes possession of the ball. Was spun around a couple of times, one of the rides at the Royal Adelaide Show before being released from the tackle. Umpire didn't pay holding the ball. The play went on and his handball went over the boundary line for a boundary throw in a half forward for the Doggies. It's McKenzie beaten by Meeson on that occasion. His ball comes down towards Luke Crouch. He can't take a clear position out from that stoppage before being tackled. And umpire Colin Ralston will come in now and bounce it down on the outer half-forward flank for Central Districts. Meeson again stands tall with McKenzie on that occasion. Tuck the ball down. The free kick was going to go to James Gowans, but he was beaten by the sound in the background being the siren. And at quarter time, it is Norwood 3-1-9. The ball a bit too much and not hitting their targets. You know, reminiscent of a couple of players in the grandstand wing late in the quarter when they salvaged forward opportunities. Central District a bit calmer. The major thing that stood out, Daniel Healy in an assistant role this year, spending a lot of time with Luke Cowan, who appeared a bit dejected out there, a bit down, and just trying to pump him up a little bit, give him a bit of direction about where he needed to be. Central's likewise not overly happy with their quarter and just a bit worried about their system, bringing it forward, not creating enough scoring opportunities from the times they're bringing the ball forward.
13 points the margin. We've just got underway here in the second quarter. Central District in front, and they're going towards the northern end, or the Beulah Road end. Down towards half forward, the kick there from Swatara, intercepted by Jackman initially. Couldn't really put foot to... We sort of put foot to ball, but it just sort of slid along the ground. Taken there by his immediate opponent in Luke Cowan. Got it across there to Matty Slade. Kicks up towards the teeth of goal, and Westhoff once again puts up those big long arms. And if there's any AFL talent scouts watching this game here today, as I'm sure there will be, they will be most impressed with this 19-year-older from Tanunda. You could almost write a song. No, I'm thinking of the Down Under song. I'm just trying to sort of fit in something that, you know, the rhyming bit there. But anyway, it's Justin Westhoff. He really is a man at work today. Comes in and kicks for goal, and after all that build-up, he's put it through for a minor score. He's kicked 3 goals, 1 now for this afternoon in what's been a pretty promising start and worrying signs for the Redlegs in these early stages. 5 goals, 3 to Centrals, 33, leading Norwood 3-1-19. We've talked a lot about Westhoff. How do you think he'd go at the next level, like Matthew Dawes?
Oh, definitely. I think he'd probably need to bulk up a little bit. I can just see he's probably only a few kilos heavier than me and got 15 centimetres on him. So he's all skin and bones at the moment, but still very effective. I can imagine him playing good footy at AFL level.
And he wouldn't have your pace either.
Don't be flattered. Flattery will get you nowhere, Doug.
Mark taken by McKenzie, grandstand centre wing. He's going to get chip in to the pocket, and O'Sullivan successfully takes the mark there from the Jesse Oates pocket, where the young lad in the twos game kicked a remarkable goal in the last quarter. Kicks it to the top of the square, though, not a shot at goal. Pack develops. Digan for Norwood takes possession of the ball, releases Culpert, who had stood himself in a bit of space some 10 or 15 yards away from the pack. His kick is a good one towards half forward. Norwood will go further forward now. Vlatko sends it to the top of the square. Koshel well positioned to take the mark. In the end, Cochrane did enough just to spoil his attempt to be able to do so freely. He's hemmed into the back pocket now. Cochrane still got possession of the ball, gets around Koshel in the end. Chips short to Hayes. Hayes goes by hand to James Gowans. He's got Lee Westhoff out wide. He finds that player out of centre wing. Centrals have got the ball away from the danger zone, and now they're going to go forward. It's Cowan now in a position to mark. He's got to that contest, but he's illegally disposed of Nick Jackman when going for the mark, and just showing his frustration there, I think, at the moment. Luke Cowan gives away, mouthing off to the umpire, gives away a 25-metre penalty, and that'll take Jackman towards the middle of the ground. He'll send Norwood forward on this occasion. He's going to go to the long lead of Vlatko, well positioned to mark, but in front, taking a strong mark was Lee Westhoff. Vlatko either just misjudged that one or just didn't anticipate how tall Lee Westhoff is, and he got his hands to the ball and took a strong mark. Matty Dawes, the defender, is probably saying he should have spoiled, but we'll get to that in a moment as Seven Naylor takes the mark across half-back now, kicks it long. A contest there coming from O'Sullivan, spoiled Bartamucci's attempted mark, and the ball comes off the boot in the end of Luke McCabe and goes over the boundary line on the full. So the resultant free kick will go now to lower for Norwood. McCabe's plea that it bounced on the line was met with deaf ears by the umpire. Comes inside to Meeson to Bailey. Bailey, the Albie Menzel lookalike, sticks it inside 50. Koshel can't get to that marking contest. Cochrane just worrying him at the moment off the ball, and that's doing enough to take Koshel's attention away from taking marks. And now Mackenzie does well for a big fella, keeps it inside to Quentin Graham, feeds it back now to Big Buckets. He goes short, and Luke Cowan on this occasion takes the mark 80 metres out for Central Districts. Kicks it to that hop spot, and Shell bustled out by Lower on that occasion. Lower affects the spoil, but the doggies have got the numbers at ground level. Swatala's kick is well smothered. An important smother by Brett James on that occasion, and Dygan with Campbell it is with a lot of pace, bouncing out of defence, links up with Colpert, sets Campbell up a bit with the forward handball, but Campbell does enough to generate an opportunity for Brunoli. He's missed the bounce though, and the doggies have created the turnover inside defensive 50. Cochrane linking up with Big Griffin. The lanky one goes out wide, and Paul Thomas sends Centrals now into an attacking position almost, where Curry takes the mark. He runs off and kicks it out wide. This time Cowan bustles Jackman fairly and takes the mark 65 metres out from goal. Runs straight back. He'll just kick it long to the top of the square. He does. Where's Shell? Where's Weston? Oh! Flying high was actually Matty Thomas. He flew for an absolute screamer at Shell Stadium last week. Didn't take the mark in Port Power colours. On this occasion, he's taken absolute belter of the mark in the back half of the ground. I'll have to keep going because Doug Oakley's just a bit too excited at the moment to take up his commentary post, and Heath Colpert has taken the mark for Norwood inside the centre square, goes laterally to release Brett James into an enormous amount of space. He can have a couple of bounces. He's had one, and then he's forced to kick along on this occasion. Coming out, Koshel was spoiled by Cochrane. Karslake had positioned himself well to take the crumb, but spilt the beans in the end, and the turnover created now from Central's. O'Sullivan kicks along to Griffin. There's just a bit of circle work going on down at the moment. Neither side scoring. Central's a 5-3-33, Norwood a 3-1-19. We've played 5 minutes now in the second quarter, and Norwood create the turnover across half-back and then kick in the middle of the ground and turn it over again to Curry. Curry now to Lee Westhoff, kicks it long inside 50. Shell Westhoff, on that occasion being manned up by Lower, couldn't get to the marking contest, but does very well at ground level just to compete hard and keep it inside forward 50. So the umpire will come down and bounce it down now 50 metres out from the Central's goal, and about 30 metres from where Matty Thomas just took the mark of the day. Doug Oakley.
Good on you, John. Thank you for that. It was a marathon effort too. Did well as the ball now across half forward here for Central District. The weight being used there by the little bloke, and Matty Slade comes out though to Colpert, one of his opponents, and the ball's knocked across the line and out of bounds. There will be a throw in front of a pretty impressive crowd here at Norwood this afternoon. Sunny conditions, just superb for football. It's about 16 degrees, I guess, and we're watching Central District and Norwood. 14 points the margin at the moment, with Central's in front. The hand pass from Brett James comes out now to Bailey, the former Box Hill boy, down towards the wing. Oh, it's all Central's. Luke McCabe, the former Hawthorn player, back farming now, up around Hamley Bridge, has taken the mark. Into centre half forward he goes, across to his teammate O'Sullivan. He went with a hand pass, but taking it away there, we find it's going to be Norwood back in towards the centre of the ground. Vlatko tried to take it. Quentin Graham is his opponent. Graham, very, very hard player to beat. May have held on to Vlatko. Play on calls the umpire. Hand pass came out there from the Norwood player in Lower once again. Back to Vlatko. He looks down here for Koshel. Koshel's caught with the ball. He's swung off it there by Curry. Still got his foot to it though. Across to Campbell. Dummies around an opponent. Went with a hand pass. He gets it out to Borlase. Another hand pass in the direction of Koshel. And would you believe that Norwood still are not able to go beyond that Central District defence? Each time they've gone forward, Central's have been up to it, and this time it's Curry who gets the ball. He just kicks the ball over the head of Zibanana. Tapped on here by the Central player. Will be a free kick, and the umpire's paid play on. Yes, he has. He paid the advantage. It was good umpiring by Colin Ralston as Colpert kicks right up and towards the teeth of goal. There's his big kick, and a free kick to be paid here to the Redlegs or Centrals. It will be a Central free kick. Deep in defence, it's Andrew Hayes who's got that one, and Matthew Dawes. It must be disheartening for the midfielders and those coming through from half-back too. The ball gets down to that forward line, but they're not able to just capitalise.
Definitely, like I was saying before, a bit of circle work at the moment, just going from half-back line to half-back line, but played an absolute frenetic pace at the moment.
It's not a bad game to watch, I must admit, as James Gallagher swings right onto his left foot, his non-preferred, also known as his wrong foot by John Simons, and the ball has gone out of bounds on the full, and it will be a free kick here to Central District, and the boy out there is number 7 in Chad O'Sullivan. recruited to the club this year from Werribee, played in the VFL state team last year, and a very, very handy replacement there for Marco Bello. He drops the ball in short and will find his teammate in... we're looking there at Zibanata driving the ball down towards half forward, but this time it's going to be Central's. Their attacking move has been thwarted this time by Brett Zorzi. What a defender he's turned out to be too. He's not a spectacular player, but he's just a hard player to get kicks on. Comes in now. He's got some skill. Having said that, he finds Scotty Borlase across half back. He feeds off the hand pass here to Dygan. Dygan goes down towards half forward. Up goes the player there. Up very high there for the mark was the youngster in number 28 in Gibson, of course, on the Crows list. Over his head the ball goes, intercepted now by James Gowans. He's going to drop the ball in short. O'Sullivan racing through the centre. It's from one half-back line to the other. Who's going to kick the first goal? Hand pass from McCabe. Gets it across here to Swatana. Swatana looks further afield and finds Daniel Shell on the lead. 45 metres out from goal. He'll kick from 50, right in front of the scoreboard. And we've only seen one behind kicked in this quarter, and we've played 10 minutes. But still some pretty good football. Central's in front by 14 points. Just waiting for some scores around the ground with John in just a moment. As in comes Daniel Shell. There's the big kick right up towards the teeth of goal. It's a mark to Central's, and it may well be a goal. Yes, it is. And I think it is Lee Westhoff, or Justin Westhoff once again. That is goal number 4. And that is a freakish performance given the nature of this game. Central's 6 goals, 3-39, leading Norwood 3-1-19. And for Eagle Paint and Panel, more comments from former Norwood vice-captain in Matthew Dawes.
That goal there just looked like someone going 10-pin bowling, send the ball straight down the middle of the aisle and not hitting a single pin. There's about 14 players in the goal square, and I don't know how none of them seem to get a hand on it. Well, at least the umpires didn't think so. But, yeah, very handy goal for Centrals there.
And anything to do with your 10-pin bowling of late, Matt?
No, I can't get out on the lane too often these days.
Yes, fair enough. As we find it's going to be Central's going forward once again. James Gowans was the target. Over his head will be picked up by Matty Slade, perhaps one of the early season favourites for the McGarry medal, and be a popular win too. He's been a great little rover. Gets the hand pass back there to James Gowans, who in turn got it back there to his teammate in McCabe, right up in towards the teeth of goal. It comes off hands. A hand pass there to O'Sullivan. I think he has missed that one. Yes, he has. Central District 6-4-40. Leading Norwood 3-1-19 as we say g'day to Tom and Chris, who I think are listening to us at the ground here. And I think they were saying their grandson or their granddaughter's actually got pictures of you, Matt, in her or his bedroom. How about that?
Yeah, amazing.
Amazing.
Some people, you can't read them.
Yes, no, but they're wonderful local football supporters, and that's the great thing. As the ball comes out now to Central District once again, the boy in Stuart Cochrane has kicked the ball long and deep, and virtually unattended is Daniel Shell taking that mark 20 metres out from goal. A chance now to take Central's further ahead. They lead at the moment by 21 points. Fellas like Stewie Cochrane, he's not spectacular, but given the fact he played 100 AFL matches or thereabouts, what a great player.
He's very workmanlike and uses the ball very well. As you said, he's not fancy in any aspect of his game, but extremely handy player.
In comes Daniel Shell and kicks for goal, but he's off target with that one, which... well, I guess you've got to say it's good news for the Redleg supporters because Centrals are taking control of this game, even though it's been fairly even in this quarter. Centrals now 6-5-41, leading Norwood 3-1-19. It's funny, people have said, Matthew, over the years that one aspect of the game that has not really improved dramatically is the kicking for goal. Other aspects have, but that's one that really hasn't.
Which is funny, really, because it doesn't take too much effort to go out to training and practice after training, slotting a few through. But I guess at least we've got behind posts. It's not like soccer where if you miss, you get nothing.
Yeah, well, that's a fair comment too. And you don't have penalty shots.
Exactly. Thank goodness.
Yes, thank goodness. Exactly. Maybe we should have them when there's draws. Wouldn't that be fascinating? Kicking from 30 metres out on the boundary. John Simons, any updates around the other grounds?
We'll just check this forward foray for Norwood as Colpert's taken it slightly forward to centre for the legs. His kick just getting inside 50 on the bounce now. Vletko or Koshel, it is leading up to the ball on that occasion. He couldn't take possession. The doggies got the numbers. Back there in defence, it's Curry now linking up with Cochrane. He spills the beans, though, at the moment. He's now hemmed in against a 1-on-2. Colpert comes in and provides some pressure as well. Norwood create the turnover, and the ball gets over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in. The scores around the grounds locally. Couldn't get a Glenelg West score, but the Eagles are thumping Sturt. They are 12-1 at 73, leading Sturt 3-1-19. early stages at Norwood Oval. It's a goal fest there as well. Sees North Adelaide 12 goals for 76, leading Port on 7-1-43. 19 goals kicked some 10 minutes into the second quarter, whilst over the border, Doug, Collingwood lead West Coast by 11 points at half-time. And in the Bryce Gibbs Cup, it is Essendon 11-5-71, leading Carlton 8-5-53, leading by 18 points there in the battle for the first round draft pick, as Adam Swatala has a shot on goal for the Dogs and just misses to the near side, through for a minor score. So the score here at Norwood Oval sees Central 6-6-42, leading Norwood 3-1-19, 23-point lead now to Central District, some 14 minutes into the second term.
Brett James with the ball. He goes backwards now, gets it across there to his teammate in Nick Jackman, out towards the half-back line. Tim Nicholas is the target. Nicholas took the ball across there to his teammate in Dygan, on to Bailey. Bailey, a hand pass back to Dygan. Races through the centre of the ground. This is good football. Very, very good kick, and a good lead too by Koshel. And he's taken the mark now, about 45 metres out from goal, on about a 45-degree angle. It will favour his right foot, though, and he's a thumping sort of a kick too. He looks pretty impressive. I mean, he's still got a fair way to go, Matthew Dawes, but he looks okay. He's a fantastic player. He really needs to work on his kicking. That last one for goal looked like my drive out in the golf course, but hopefully this one will go a little bit better. There he goes. That is a thumping. That is a booming kick, that one.
He pulled out the 3-wood on that occasion.
Oh, did he ever? And he got onto that one. He's kicked his second goal for the afternoon, which has been pretty impressive. It's only his 7th game, but it's his 12th goal for Norwood, so it's been a fairly good start. Big lump of a man, 199 centimetres, 102 kilos. Norwood 4 goals, 125, but Trading Centrals, who are 6 goals, 6, which is 42, so the margin 17 points. Well, certainly Norwood needed that goal. The game was sneaking away from them, Matthew. Yeah, Centrals look like they're going to have a blowout, but it was just a nice steadier for Norwood, and I don't think we'll see Adam Koshel in this competition next year the way he's going.
And they just need to generate a couple more in a row now, Norwood, get themselves right back in this contest on the scoreboard at half-time. Brett James leading by example, won the hard footy against Chris Gowans, and then the ball was spilt by Karslake as the handball came through, but he's made amends and picked up possession of the ball. Fight on behind play. We'll get Matty Dawes to watch that one for us as Heath Colpert takes possession of the ball inside 50 for Norwood, goes, handballs back outside 50 to Ball Ace. He gives it towards Gibson, who's under pressure. His kick is going to work out, though, because Quentin Graham charging out of the ball. The ball came off his shin and went out of bounds on the full. That fight's still going in the middle of the ground. It might help Norwood here. It might open some opportunities up forward to centre as Ball Ace finds Thomas. That's Matty Thomas now, some 60 metres out from goal. There's still a couple of Gowans boys involved there, and also big Timmy Nicholas. They're not overly happy. Kicks short to Colpert. Might like his chances from here if he can line up a shot for goal. Heath Colpert, he handles back towards the feet of Thomas, though, and he's strongly pressured by Curry. Creates the turnover to Wilson. Wilson's kick up the line. They're looking for Elijah Ware. He's polished. His disposal is Elijah Ware off one step. Spots up a target. Great vision inside to Andrew Hayes. Hayes goes to McCabe, and McCabe kicks along to a contest there from Shell under enormous pressure. Ball spills up to Justin Westhoff. He'll run in and kick goal number 5. Well, he know he won't. He ran into an open goal from 15 metres out, and he has hit the post, should I say, the behind post. So 4 goals 2 now to Justin Westhoff, and a let-off there on that occasion to the Dogs, to the Legs, I'm sorry. Norwood are 4-1-25, Centrals are 6-7-43, and Matty Dawes is going to update us on the status of that fight. Anything to report there, mate?
Yeah, absolutely no surprises there. The 2 Gowans boys from Central Districts and Matthew Bartamucci and Tim Nicholas from Norwood. Exactly what you'd expect.
I think they made a movie about that, Doug. It was called The Usual Suspects.
Yeah, fair enough. Isn't it funny, though, the Gowans boys, from what I can gather, are pretty popular on and off the field. Well, not so much on the field with the opposition, but off the field. You know, a couple of real good lads. They really give plenty of colour to this competition. They are good guys. They've got white line fever. Once they step over that white line, they split personalities, I think, but I think it actually works in their favour.
Now, Matty, you know more than most. The word is that they, as Justin Westhoff comes off for a spell, replaced by Big Buckets McKenzie, they rip into each other as much as anyone else, the opposition around the field, don't they? They just give it to each other.
Absolutely, and that's what you want as a opposition player. As we see, Timmy Nicholas is looks like he's sporting an open vest out there on the field at the moment with his Guernsey ripped straight down the middle.
Much like the winner of the stage in the Tour de France during the week, just having to zip the top up before he crosses the finish line as the legs go forward. Flaco, a strong contest. The young Adrian Wilson would have felt the full brunt of that one as hemmed up in a tackle now. Going nowhere with the footy is Brunoli, not appreciating the curry he was given from Brad Curry.
That's a good one, John.
That is a good one. Hey, an interesting thing, Danny, Luke Crouch actually took a mark and he was actually over the boundary line. He was not actually taking part in the way. I've never seen that happen before. A player on the interchange bench actually taking a mark. It won't be credited as a possession, but it was just an interesting little sidelight. As this time, it's Big Gibson, charges his way through, did it brilliantly too.
Kick the goal.
Here's a goal coming up, I reckon. No, has he kicked it? Nitschke has kicked it. The boy from, where's he from? Loberthal, is he? He's put that one through and he's kicked it almost to Loberthal too. I tell you what. Yeah, that was a great effort there by Big Gibson, I thought. He just used his strength as Tim Nicholas runs back towards the centre. And he's going to swap Guernseys. We'll watch to see what jumper he's got on it because it was a great big rip down the front. 58. But a good goal. Number 58, is it?
Well, wouldn't you? Of course you'd wear 58.
Of course you'd wear number 58. That's right. It's Norwood 5-1-31. Central District 6-7-43. Just 12 points the margin. 2 straight kicks on this one. And Matthew Dawes, Norwood just gaining a little bit of the ascendancy, and they needed to as well.
They certainly have. Just starting to throw their weight around. Probably that fight didn't do them any harm at all.
As Nicholas in the 58 jumps high for that one, but it was won by Sculler on that occasion. Gowans. That is James, wrapped up in a tackle by Brett James. There'll be a fair bit of respect amongst those two players, and nothing untoward there. And the bounce down occurs again inside the centre circle, spills out towards Swatala. More by fortune than good luck on that occasion. Kicks it long towards half forward. Luke Cowan gives a very strong contest, but he can't take the mark. The ball somewhat fortuitously comes out to him. He goes short by hand now to Slade. Slade looking for Chris Gowans. Taps the ball over towards the dangerous Elijah Ware, but Brett Zorzi standing in the way. One possession of the ball. His handball missed the target though, and Daniel Shell will get a shot on goal out of this one. He's missed, but not by too much in the end as it curls around. In fact, it didn't quite get the journey, and Matty Thomas for Norwood takes the mark on the very last line of defence as we creep into time on now. 20 minutes played here at the parade. It is Central 6-7-43. Leading Norwood, who are 5-1-31, only by 1 goal 6, so a total of 12 points, 2 goals on the scoreboard, separates the side. Norwood would dearly love to kick the last goal in this half, going into half-time, closing the margin inside of a goal. Would be a fairly satisfactory result given the somewhat dominant Centrals have had over the last 40-odd minutes of this game. As Borlace now kicks it long for Norwood inside 50. He goes through the pack. A chance here for Norwood. Vlatko needs a kind bounce. Leads in the race to the ball. Gets a shot on goal. I don't think he's hooked it back enough, although he likes it. And the goal umpire says he likes it as well. And Jamie Vlatko with his first opportunity at the big sticks today pops through a very important major for the Norwood Football Club. And at the 21-minute mark in the second quarter, thanks to station sponsor Eagle Paint and Panel, Norwood draw within 6 points. They're 6-1-37. Centrals are 6-7-43, and Matty Dawes, Norwood have grasped hold of that important word in football, that M word. They've got the momentum.
They certainly have. It's amazing what you do when you get the ball into the forward lines quickly, and Centrals just squandered their last few opportunities. They really need to maximise those.
There he is, number 58, Tim Nicholas. Had to change the jumper, but it's going to be taken away by Centrals. Elijah Ware did it brilliantly. Takes one bounce. He's 55 metres out. He runs around an opponent. I think he might have kicked a goal. That is magnificent football by Elijah Ware. And he is destined for bigger and better things more regularly. He has played with Port Power this year. I think he only had the one game, was it?
Gee, doesn't that stop his momentum, though?
That was superb. Central District now move along to 7 goals, 7-49. Leading Norwood 6-1-37. And for Eagle Paint and Panel, let's get more comments from Matthew Dawes.
Yeah, it's a perfect response to a couple of goals in a row by Nord. Probably to a grand total of 6 seconds from that centre bounce for Elijah Ware to slot that one through. And just had, I guess, the confidence to step around the player, knowing he had the momentum going towards goal.
Umpire Colin Ralston now with the ball to put it down once again. Tim Nicholas, and is it Paul Scholar out there who's shielding his eyes from the sun because he's looking toward the north, from which way, of course, the sun is shining. Nice day for getting the washing dried today. Beautiful day for just driving around. Good day for footy too. Nicholas did it brilliantly. Got it across to Brett James. His kick was smothered though. No one able to really break clear on the ground there. Picking it up. The biggest of them all in the Scholar. Did it magnificently there to Elijah Ware. Fed the hand pass out there. And Elijah Ware, was he pushed in the back? Or was it around the neck? No, he's actually been penalised.
In the action of fending off, Doug, he's played it against Elijah Ware.
So the free kick will go here to the Redlegs across half back. And a pretty promising build-up it was going to be too. And Nick Lower, it is coming through from half back. He's been pretty impressive. He is a very, very solid lad. I think they said last night his brother Ed, who debuted for the Kangaroos against Adelaide last night, has a little bit of the old white line fever, that type of player. A new Glenn Archer type. Well, the way Nick Lower attacks the ball too. He's a very, very strong player. A free kick to be paid here to Norwood.
Yep.
Yes.
The throw paid against Quinton Graham, I think it was on that occasion. And Jamie Vlatko will be the recipient. He tapped the ball back. It was Graham or Sibanala, tapped the ball back. The umpire deemed it was a throw, and technically that was the correct decision, Doug. So 25 metres out directly in front. Jamie Vlatko will line up for his second goal within 3 minutes.
Might have been a bit similar to the one that Daniel Wells got penalised with last night. As we're watching now as Vlatko comes in to kick for goal. Been reasonably quiet today, except for the last couple of minutes. Gets under it a little bit. Has he kicked this one? I think he has, but he made the goal umpire work. The red and blue banners are being waved ferociously, and it's great to see the cheer squad here too, doing a wonderful job. And so there's another goal there too. Norwood still trailing at the moment as we check the scoreboard for Eagle Paint and Panel. 6 points the margin. It's Central 7-7, Norwood 7-1. And Matthew Dawes, a complete change really has come over this game in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, sure has. A good goal by Jamie Vlatko. He just needs a couple to boost his confidence and needs to just take a couple of good grabs out in front and get back to his proper self.
As John Simons gathers a few scores around the grounds. Coming out of the centre there was Scotty Carslake. Down towards half-forward he goes. Up they go. Comes off hands. Players are finding it a little bit hard with the sun in their eyes. And Matthew Dawes, how do you find it when you're out there and the ball comes in? And, I mean, the sun must have a big effect. We just take it for granted. You're going to take every mark.
Definitely, no. It's tough when it's coming straight into it. It almost looks like you're scared of the ball coming, but it's just because you've got no idea whether it's going to hit you on the nose or the forehead.
I used to play football in Portland, Victoria, and I used to say to people, the sun's in my eyes, but we never used to get sun down there. As John Simons was trying to say something there.
Centrals bring the ball out of the defensive end of the ground. It's Mackenzie well positioned to mark. He didn't do so. The ball comes to ground level where Elijah Ware has been dangerous. Thomas did well though. Poor listed teammates on that occasion and won that contest, did Thomas, as the handball in board from Crouch. Now it ends up with Carslake for Norwood. He's going to go over to Jackman. Jackman trying to run through half forward, steps around Wilson almost, and then chips the ball up. And Vlatko's going to somewhat mark this on the chest.
Brilliant.
Schooler came from nowhere to effect a very, very strong spoil at the moment. It's still inside the Norwood 50. Gibson again works hard to pick the ball up, gets it to big Timmy Nicholas. He kicks it along the top of the square. There's some holding going on there, and the umpire hasn't seen it. I thought he was going to pay the free. There was a bit of holding onto Big Coshell by Stewie Cochran on that occasion, but he got away with it. Big Scholar takes the mark and chips it laterally out in front of Cooper's Hill there, where Cochran takes the mark. He'll kick it long, looking for a curry, and he finds one out on the outer side of the ground. As the news from Unley Oval is that the Blues are having the better of the second quarter, mounting a comeback. They've kicked 5 goals, 3 in the second quarter to the Eagles, 2 straight goals. And the Eagles still lead comfortably, though, 11-7-73, leading the Double Blues 6-4-40. Whilst here at the parade at Cooper Stadium, it is the home side trailing by a goal. Norwood 7-1-43, Central 7-7-49, as Digan, under enormous pressure, was strongly tackled by Luke McCabe. He chased hard on that occasion. Swatala applies a similar tackle, and the ball is locked up inside the centre square, slightly forward of centre for the Central District side. We've played 25 minutes on the second quarter, thanks to Eagle Paint and Panel.
Tremendous game of football. 6 points the margin. I tell you what, it's been a thriller. Big Tim Nicholas, I tell you what, he's been revitalised. It must be the new jumper. Change him every game, I say. As Brett James goes down towards half-forward, and he's found Bradoli marking the ball. 55 metres out. He'll kick from 60. Too far out to score. He's got players on the lead. He's got Big Koshel. Up he goes. Couldn't take the mark. It will be picked up by Carslake, who's had a very, very good second quarter. A big centering kick here by Norwood. And a free kick. A free kick to be paid.
There was some holding. There was something going on here between Big Buckets, McKenzie, and Digan. Against Digan, and the free kick will go to where the ball is now. Where in actual fact, it should come back to where the infringement happened. Anyway.
And so it's going to be a free kick to Centrals. That's the final analysis. And a chain of hand passes ends up there with James Gowans. He's thrown to the ground. He's still got the ball, and now he's lost it. And I tell you what, it's like a choir all just taking the direction from their conductor, because all of Norwood Norwood crowd went up and cheered the umpire there because they got a free kick, and Bartamucci kicks right up in towards the teeth of goal. Up went Gibson, couldn't take the mark, and we find the ball eventually run across the line there by Stewie Cochrane.
He's added a bit of life and venom, hasn't he, Chad Gibson? Just having a bit of a dip up there, Matty.
Yeah, he's really good with his body presence around the footy. As a big man, that's what you want, someone just to run through and intimidate the opposition.
Boundary throw in now, 20 metres around from the red leg goal. If they can kick the next one, they draw. The score's level, but the Dogs win the ball in the back half of the ground. Quinton Graham thumps one out of defence. James Gowan's involved in this contest. He was pushed in the back. Just experience and guile at the moment. Just let momentum of Luke Nitschke's tackle drift him forward. And though the crowd won't have liked it, the free was technically there for James Gowans. He kicks out towards Paul Thomas, and he is intercepted before he can add to the statistical sheet. Paul Thomas intercepted by the siren sounding to indicate.
Played at a frenetic pace, even though there were quite a few turnovers and skill errors across the half-forward line of each side. Just the intensity of the players going at the ball was really, really top class.
Well, for your sake, we didn't ask Shane Harris specifically about the umpire. I didn't have any real issues. I think there were probably one or two frees they missed, and maybe crucial ones, as you mentioned. You know, we may have talked about it off air. There may have been a holding one that could have been paid. But
Doug, a quick question to Matty Dawes. Norwood looked down to 20 men. Heath Culpert, I didn't see re-emerge after half-time.
I think in the last 10 minutes on the Coopers Hill, he tried to run through someone, might have got a cork in the hip.
Okay.
Scotty Borlase gets the first possession. That's not uncommon, but not a real good possession this time. Elijah Ware's got it. He normally does something with it, which he did. It just dribbled off his foot, and Scotty Borlase actually grabbed it once again and drives it down towards half-forward and has found Gibson. Gibson's off in opposition there to Stewie Cochrane, right up in towards the teeth of goal. A free kick to Norwood in front of goal. They have a chance now to level the scores, and what a start for the Redlegs. They're going towards the northern end, or it's Beulah Road in behind there, isn't it? The Beulah Road end, if you like, as opposed to the parade end.
What about the level of intent, though, from Chad Gibson showing that he's here to play today, isn't he?
Exactly. It's one thing you don't want as a backman. You see someone coming through half forward and just take on their opponent. It's going to come in twice as quick as what you imagine, and that certainly had a big impact in hopefully setting up this goal.
So the kick for goal now to be taken by
Bryce Campbell. He'll kick it.
Bryce Campbell. In he comes, kicks for goal. Oh, he's made the goal umpire work, but he's put it through, scores a lot together. Can you believe that? Norwood 8-1, 49. Central 7-7, 49. And for Eagle Paint and Panel, our major sponsors, also State Security Services, TJM Products for serious four-wheel drive, EIG Ansvar. And also, we've got Rebel Sport, all sponsors of today's big game, and enjoying the action here today, Matthew Dawes.
Yeah, Bryce is still only 21 years of age, having his best season by far in his career. Hopefully we'll see him around Norwood Footy Club for the next 8 or 9 years.
Big Timmy Nicholas up against Schooler. Nicholas wins it on that occasion. Then there's almost a secondary ball ruck contest as the ball bounces up high, and Schooler got his hand to that one. It's still inside the centre square, socked through forward by Norwood, but it's picked up now by Swatala. Kicks Central's inside 50, ball at ground level as Jackman polishes up nicely, picking the ball up in the 1 mid, gets it back to Bailey, who torpedoes one as far as he can out of defence, but it's going to come back from whence it came. Adrian Wilson kicking it high. Shell flies high, can't take the mark. Again, it's one for the Crummers. James Gallagher trying to take possession of the ball. He couldn't do so, and he knocked the ball up to big Daniel Shell, and then tried to mop up with the tackle, but caught Shell high as Shell was in the process of picking the ball up, and Gags launched at him and unfortunately wrapped his arms around the shoulders and the neck region there of Daniel Shell. And the reigning Ken Farmer medalist will go back and line up from 45 or 40 metres out, virtually directly in front of the Southern goals here at the parade. It's a very good-looking kick. It weaves its way through the middle of the high posts, and Daniel Shell has kicked his second, and the immediate reply, it belongs to the Central District side as they reply to Bryce Campbell's opening goal in this second half. We've played 2 minutes for 2 goals in this third quarter, and Norwood are 8-1, 49. Centrals are 8-7, 55. 6-point lead to the Central District side. Special comments coming from former Norwood Vice Captain Matty Dawes.
James Gallagher just needed to crumb that ball cleanly then, and after the spill, let it go into Daniel Shell's hands, and just a clumsy tackle and a good finish by Daniel Shell.
There's the ball up as we find Norwood get away with it now through Borlase. Kicks in towards centre half foot. It's not such a good kick, but it does get distance. It probably covered about 45 metres in the end. Paul Thomas is in there trying to get it picked up by Brunoli, though. Swings it round. This is a good kick, but deep in defence there. The mark has been taken by Quinton Gray. Graham, member of our state team, and what a handy player he is, the boy from Powalawi. Goes short. Well, he's still got 45 metres, got it across to Schooler, and we find it is Central District coming out of defence. He in turn got it across to Wilson, then on to one of the Gowans boys, or was that Slade? No, it was one of the Gowans boys, down towards half forward, and a mark's been taken here by Centrals. The boy there is McCabe, the former Hawthorn player, played over 100 games with the Hawks, returning to his old club, Central District, won the medal last year in the grand final.
And would you believe it, Doug? A former Sacred Heart lad.
Yes, I do believe that, John. Yes, working on the farm these days. Of course, up there at Hamley Bridge, but what a player to have coming back with all that experience and still a wonderful footballer. There's a short kick that comes in, and Zorzi it is who takes that mark. Comes out now towards the wing, and Brett James racking up the possessions. Takes that mark, drops the ball in short. Not hand passing as much these days, Matthew Dawes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's probably the one criticism of his game, and he looked to hand pass a little bit too often. He's got a fantastic kick, so why not use it?
He's a lovely kick, and on both sides of the body too. This time we find it is across the ground.
This is the part I don't like. Norwood have taken the ball virtually 40 metres backwards to maintain position. I don't see the point in that.
As it was Thomas who had it there, the Port Power player. As we mentioned earlier, played with the Power last week against Geelong. What a thrill that must have been for the lad. Kicks down towards the wing. There's a free kick to Norwood as the big bloke in Nicholas, wearing number 58. If you're listening to us at the Norwood Oval, his usual number 5 jumper got ripped right down the front, and so he's in number 58. Tim Nicholas, he's another man mountain. Kicks the ball. That's a lovely kick right up towards centre half forward. It comes off hands. A hand pass comes out there. Bailey's got it, hemmed in against the boundary line, 50 metres out from goal. It bounces out of the chest of Latko. It was an awkward bounce in all fairness to him, and we find it's going to be Central District now deep in defence. They can't burst their way clear. It's around about 50 metres out from goal. It was sort of knocked forward, and there's still a little bit of pushing and shoving happening behind the play, and a little bit of niggling going on in this game. But right in front of the scoreboard, we find it is Central's in front by 6 points, 8-7 to 8-1. John Simons.
Elijah Ware just limping off the ground here, Doug, and going to be replaced by Lee Westhoff. That could be a real blow. No, it's not Ware. It might be Hayes, is it? Andrew Hayes it is, not Elijah Ware. Andrew Hayes off the ground with some sort of discomforting injury there. So replaced by Lee Westhoff, and boundary throw in front of the Eagle Paint and Panel scoreboard. The Doggies leading it by the half-time margin of 6 points. Brunoli for Norwood throws it on his boot as he slung around to the tackle. Vlatko again leaves the roast of the ball. It might bob up for Koshel. Can he get his boot to the ball? He couldn't. He had an opportunity to do so, but the bounce beat him over the line through for the first rush behind, unusually, of this game coming in the second half. And Norwood now trail by 5 points, 8-2-50. Central's 8-7-55. The kick-in has come back in to the grandstand centre wing. It's picked up by Lower for Norwood. He goes to James. James looking to handball, but he mightn't get it over the top of McKenzie. Lower did well to force the contest at that point in time. Allowed Jackman the opportunity to take possession of the ball. He's won the free kick for too high, and McKenzie goes to chokehold. Similar to the WWE there, he's just going to go, I think, the finishing move there of...
I think you'll find this is going to be quite a decent 50 metres.
Yeah, he's going to pick him up in the chokehold, the rather big show. And no, he was only given the 25 in the end. McKenzie did go back for a second helping. You're right there on that occasion, Matty Dawes, but the umpire, Rowson, just settling on the 25 at the moment, and Jackman's going to chip in short to the big number 58 in Timmy Nicholas. Wearing Guernsey number 5 normally, but in 58 for the second half. Kicks to a long lead, and there's a nest of dogs there, though, on that occasion. And the resultant mark will be taken safely in that contested situation, this time by Eves Sibanela for the Doggies. Still locked inside defensive 50. He's got Slade free, the only player on the ground wearing a Guernsey number higher than Timmy Nicholas's 58 in Matty Slade. He's played all of his 151 games for the Doggy colours in that Guernsey number 59. And has done so with very distinguishing colours as Matty Slade kicks long. Jackman put his body on the line. He was hit hard. He didn't win a free kick, but he competed hard for the ball. He didn't win the mark, and is picked up now by McCabe. McCabe kicks it long into a contest with Gowans and Bailey. Bailey does well. Picks up the handball, almost tried to hand it to Zorzi. He was under enormous pressure coming in with Ware. His Ware with lightning pace. Shell, Gallagher working hard at ground level as well. It bobs up to his direct opponent now in Swatala. He handles it back to McCabe. He's in a little bit of space. He steadies, goes short, and will find Ware is at 15 metres. Yes, it is. and I think it was about 17, perhaps 18 metres by the time the mark was taken, and it will be the dangerous and somewhat elusive Elijah Ware, who has kicked 2 goals thus far, will line up from about 23 metres out on a slight angle, but shouldn't have too many problems in drilling this one. He'll practice them enough during the week with his full-time occupation being on the Port Power list. And Elijah Ware goes back. Brett Zorzi standing on the mark. He is hooked it. It won't come back. It goes through for a minor score. That is a disappointing miss, particularly for a professional footballer. And the Dogs now are 8-8-56. Norwood are 8-2-50. And if the great... what was his name? I can't remember. The commentator, it'll come to me in a minute, Doug. 8-8-56 brother, he used to say. What was his name in Victoria? It'll come back to me in a minute. Come on, you know that one, don't you?
He's a commentator, isn't he?
Yeah.
I've got to think of Harry Beitzel.
Oh, that's him, Harry Beitzel. 8-8-56 brother, he used to say whenever it used to come up. There it is.
Harry Beitzel.
8-8-56 brother. The Dogs leader by 6 points.
As we find, it's going to be Nicholas down towards half forward, but a very, very good mark's been taken down there by Luke Cowan, playing across half back. Goes back with a short kick, and we'll find Wilson, son of Wilbur. This is Adrian Wilson returning now to Centrals from Essendon. And he comes, lovely left. Isn't that a beautiful kick? Up in now towards centre half forward he goes, comes off hands. Carslake couldn't pick it up. Brunel, he can. He's been pretty impressive today as this young lad, as he kicks the ball down towards half forward. Will it? Oh,
good mark.
Magnificent mark at centre half forward there by the Norwood player in Dygan. He was up
Gibson.
It's Gibson. It's Chad Gibson, and a thumping kick. Look at that. He's kicked at 55 metres and found Koshal. He's found the big player, the big full forward. Yes, it is a mark, and he's taken the mark about 5 metres out. He will be going around. It is Koshal. No, it's a free kick that's going to Vlatko instead, which will be more to Norwood's advantage, in fact, because he won't be hemmed in against the boundary line. And he should have no problems in putting this one through and making the scores level. So, sensational effort there by Gibson. And Vlatko now with that free kick. In he comes. There's the kick, and he's put it through. Scores a lock together. It's Norwood, 9 goals to 56. Central's 8-8-56 also. Here for Eagle Paint and Paddle, our major sponsors of the SANFL on Life FM this year. And special comments man, Matthew Dawes. What a mark, Matthew.
It was fantastic. Chad Gibson, he's actually, I think when he went to the AFL draft camp a couple of years ago, one of the main things they were looking at was vertical leap as an indication of how powerful the young guys were coming through into the draft camp, and he actually won it despite the fact that he's something like 6'3" and built quite well. He's got a massive vertical leap, and I don't think we've seen the best of him just yet.
Heath Colpert back into the contest now for Norwood after recovering from that knock to the hip in the second quarter. So that's useful for Norwood, not just to have Colpert out there in action, but to have the full quota of interchange players available for use in this second half. And they're going to need it as the scores are locked away at 56 apiece. The Dogs go forward. Strong mark taken by Thomas on that occasion for Norwood. As they were under pressure back in the side defensive 50, goes laterally and finds Brett James out of side of the ground. He might kick it back from Winsor Kane. No, instead goes by hand to Bailey. Bailey's going to kick it long. Lovely looking kick that covers about 55 metres, and Gibson flies high again and does well to give a contest and get the ball to the front of the pack where Colpert was waiting in the right spot for a midfield. A chain of handballs ends up inboard to James, who kicks it long looking for Vlatko. Picks it up very well on the half volley, but tried for the too slick a handball on that occasion. Graham comes in and connects high with Campbell in the end. It was a pretty strong hip and shoulder, and but the free kick has gone to Campbell on that occasion. Handball's over now to Thomas. Thomas goes wide towards Lower. Lower is under some sort of pressure and goes backwards to James. They've gained no ground, Norwood, and he steadies the ship and goes short to Nicholas. Nicholas to Bailey. Bailey releases Colpert 55 metres out from goal. He's going to try and get a handball over to squeeze one into Carslake. Carslake chips in short. It tried to be a bit too cute with that one. Vlatko takes possession of the ball from a standing start and kicks it high. Koshel affects the spoil to give Norwood a chance to crumb it. It's crumbed by Carslake. He gets a flying shot on goal, but it doesn't edge the legs in front. It goes out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will go to Stewie Cochrane. 11 minutes played, 12 minutes played now in the third quarter. The Doggies are 8-8-56, brother, and Norwood are 9-2-56. And Matty Dawes, we'll just wait a second. This is Matty Slade is going to send the Dogs inside 50 shell, and also Zorzi going back with the flight of the ball, doing well was Dygan. Did well, got it out to Zorzi. The legs will relieve pressure now. The outer side of the ground. Bailey has possession of the ball. He's going to chip in short. It comes to Ball Ace. Ball Ace goes by hand now towards Bartamucci. He chips in board to Nicholas. Good contest there in the middle. No player can take the mark, and the Dogs win possession of the ball. McCabe to Westhoff. Daniel Shell's free all by himself. 10 metres out from goal. He spilled the chest mark. He didn't judge it well in the end, and he spilt the mark, and Matty Thomas takes possession of the ball and rushes it through for a minor score. It would have been a definite major to Centrals on that occasion, but he spilt the chest mark, and the Dogs, no, it went out of bounds, not through for a minor score, so it'll be a boundary throw-in. Player limping from that Nicholas crushing attempted mark inside the middle of the ground was Luke Cowan as we wait for the boundary throw-in now. Picked up by Buckets. McKenzie throws the ball on the boot. It won't go through for a minor score, and Thomas does well to relieve the pressure, albeit only momentarily for his side, as the ball goes out of bounds on the full. So the free kick will go to, I think it is James Gowans on the outer side of the ground to bring the ball back in for Centrals. It's an impossible shot for goal. Almost, in fact, he could probably buy himself a schooner or two. He's that close to Cooper's Hill by the time he's going to have this shot for goal. Chris Gowans it is, as Cowan limps off to be replaced by Chad O'Sullivan. We'll watch this shot on goal. He'll probably kick this one now and make a liar of me. I'll tell you what, he has. He'll have 2 pale ales and a West End draft and a goal. Thanks very much. From the Cooper's Hill as Chris Gowans kicks an amazing goal and wrestles the lead back for Norwood. They are now, for Central, sorry, they are now 9-8-62, leading Norwood 9-2-56. 14 minutes played in the third quarter. Matty Dawes, I want to come back to that Quinton Graham mark because I thought there was nothing wrong with it. It was just a good solid hip and shoulder.
It was. Probably copped him maybe a little bit high with the elbow. But just a quick note on Chris Gowans. Actually affected the push on Scott Karslake at the other end to cause the rush behind, and then makes his way down the other end of the ground in about 10 seconds to kick a goal.
So it is going to be McCabe this time, driving the ball in towards half-foot. A lot of courage shown on that occasion by Bartamucci. Got under the ball, running the same way as it couldn't take the mark, but it was taken away by his teammate in Jackman. Another hand pass there to Bailey. His game's lifted in this quarter. In fact, I reckon the player that's really lifted is Tim Nicholas and has just given a physical presence that was perhaps absent earlier in the game. This time it is going to be the central defender back in towards half-foot. That was McCabe, in fact, but a good mark taken deep in midway between wing and half-back there by Campbell. Campbell drops the ball in short and will find Nick Jackman. Jackman been a good player today. Having said that, that was a shocking kick, and it's going to be taken away this time by Central District. Down towards the half-forward line they go with that kick. One of the Gowans boys, was it? No, it was O'Sullivan who got the kick away down towards half-forward. Intercepted, though, again by Jackman. Out towards the wing, and Bailey has taken the mark. On the centre wing, outer side of the ground. We've got 6 points the margin here in favour of Central District. We've played 17 minutes into the third quarter and a ripper of a game. Mark taken in the centre of the ground by big Tim Nicholas. Number 58 today, after his earlier jumper got all torn. Goes down towards half-forward. He looks down here for his teammate, and he's found him too. And this is Bailey. Hasn't he had a good third quarter?
He's been everywhere. He's probably had about 7 touches in the first 15 minutes.
Knows where to find the ball. He's a prodigious kick of the ball too. I think he's too far out to score, but I reckon he ought to go right for the middle of the square, and that's exactly what he's done. Look at that for a kick. Right up in towards the teeth of goal. Where's Gibson? No, not to be seen on that occasion, or he might have been there. Not able to take the mark. Players are appealing for free kicks. Umpire comes in and says...
He's paid one.
There is a free... and it will go the way of...
No, just bouncing it down. No, he was just pointing towards why he didn't pay the mark, because some other player touched it. He was pointing to.
Well, that's good. Good communication there with the players as a hand pass comes out now to James Gowans. He races around the goal line, the defensive goal line. Now goes with a left-handed hand pass to Luke McCabe. Swung around, got rid of the ball. Good umpiring once again. The ball's about 30 metres out from the Norwood goal. They are desperate to keep it in that attacking zone and try and register something. Can't do so this time. And so the umpire comes in and says it will be another bounce. 6 points the margin. Oh, are you enjoying this, Matthew Dawes?
Certainly. Ferocious tackle by Campbell on Luke McCabe. There's absolutely no love lost between those two after, I think it was round 2 or 3 last year out at Central Districts where Bryce Campbell got the better of him in a bit of a tussle.
I do recall that. Yes, I think most of us can. Yes, we'll get some scores around the grounds with John in just a moment. The ball on the half-forward line still here for Norwood. Picked up by the player in Nick Lower. Big, long left foot kick up towards the teeth of goal. Almost a Norwood mark. Koshel was in there battling against 3 Central opponents. They're all appealing for free kicks. I tell you what, if they were fast bowlers, they wouldn't stop appealing. As Brad Curry comes in, feeds the hand pass out there to Gowans. Gowans, another long hand pass, goes across to Curry once again. Hendon against the boundary line near the scoreboard. Goes with a little left foot kick, and the mark's been taken here by Centrals. The hand pass comes out to Matthew Slade. Down towards the wing, and he's found O'Sullivan out of sight of the ground. A long way from here, John Simons.
Scores around the grounds. We'll just stick with this play for the moment, then we'll update them for Eagle Paint and Panel as O'Sullivan kicks it inside 50. Wilson! I know it sounded a bit like Tom Hanks in Castaway, but Wilson has taken the very strong mark about 50 metres out, and he will have a deliberate shot on goal as we go around the grounds for Eagle Paint and Panel. And interstate, there's a thriller for the Bryce Gibbs Cup. It is Essendon 15-9-99 leading Carlton 13-15-93 at the moment. And at the Telstra Dome, perhaps a boil over, but some troubled waters over in Perth at the moment. And the Collingwood side are running away with that one. They're 17-12-114 leading the West Coast Eagles, who are 12-12-84, so a 30-point margin locally around the ground at Unley Oval. The Eagles are remarkably accurate, 16-2-98, leading Sturt 8 goals 5, 53 by 45 points. As we just check in with Wilson's shot on goal, it's going across the face of goal. Will it go through for rush behind? No, Westhoff. Justin Westhoff at the front of the pack takes a mark amongst a pack of about 5 or 6 players that he should never be allowed to take deep in an attack like that. The Norwood side, the big ruckman, where is he? Meeson just needed to be in that contest and thump it through for a minor score. He was unable to do so on that occasion, and Westhoff will have a check side shot for goal, and he's missed. He kicks it across the face of goal through for a minor score. So as we finish those around the grounds for Eagle Paint and Panel, North Adelaide is 16-8-104 leading Port 9-4-58. And another close game down at the Glenelg Oval. The home side 13-7-85 leading West Adelaide on 11-6-72. And here at the parade with that minor score, it is Central's 9-9-63 leading Norwood 9-2-56. The legs are going to go forward now through Meeson. Kicks to the long lead and strong mark taken on that occasion by Campbell for Norwood. 55 metres out from goal. Kicks to the top of the square. Where's Koshel? Flat go. Going to fly high. Colbert crumbing well, and with discipline at the front of the pack goes by hands. Back to Gallagher. He can have a deliberate shot on goal, but he just didn't quite steady himself enough at that point in time, did James Gallagher, and it's through for a minor score to the Norwood vice-captain. And the current Norwood vice-captain kicks a minor score, and the former Norwood vice-captain sitting with us, Matty Dawes, on that occasion was trying to wheel that one through, but the legs now trail by 6 points. They are 9-3-57. Centrals are 9-9-63. Doug Oakley.
As Matty Slade kicks the ball forward, isn't he a complete little rover? The way he uses the ball, gets the hard ball too. That was a delightful pass. He's kicked it the best part of 50 metres right onto the chest of a leading Daniel Shell. He's got the mark right on the 50-metre line. He'll kick from 55. This will test him. I have seen him kick him this far before, but he can be a trifle unpredictable. Daniel Shell with 2 goals so far this afternoon. And the last 2 years has won the Ken Farmer medal. The state full forward this year won the medal there too. The Foss Williams medal for best on ground, and well deserved. There's the kick for goal right up in towards the teeth of goal. Oh, I think he's put it through. Magnificent kick for his 3rd goal for the afternoon. Wonderful, wonderful kick. And Central District move ahead now to...
Again, where's the ruckman?
10 goals, 9-69. Norwood 9-3-57. The margin now is 12 points. Where are the ruckmen, says John Simons.
Well,
what about Matthew Dawes? Be there to
touch that one. I don't know, Matty, maybe I'm being harsh.
No, actually, my criticism was going to go to Brett Zorsey. Fantastic player, but Daniel Shell was a little bit indecisive, then took his time. The umpire called play on, and Brett Zorsey wasn't really anticipating that fact, and didn't come up on the mark when he could have.
So the lead is now 12 points to the Central District side. That is doubled their half-time margin, or their lead of 6 points. But Norwood will go forward. Gallagher by hand back to Brett James. He will send his side forward now. Goes for the lead of Crouch on that occasion. Pinpointed the pass to Brett James. Meeson trying to make space here on the outer side of the ground, but perhaps he could be better going in and getting himself in a marking contest inside 50, but instead he chips it short and finds Carslake now, and Carslake will line up for goal from about 45 metres out. But I tell you, Doug, that's not a criticism of John Meeson. That's a byproduct of the competition he's learning to play in at the moment, to go and run to space and find yourself in a free position to generate a free ball, rather than go and compete for one in a competitive situation where historically that's where you like to see your big fellas stationed.
Yep, fair comment. As the kick for goal won't quite get the distance, or will it? No, it's gone through from minus. Who kicked that? Carslake.
Yep.
Scotty Carslake, of course, coming across here after playing just a few games with Woodville West Orange, but now in his 112th game. Hasn't kicked a goal today. He's got 64 in total. And we find Norwood move along to 9 goals for 58. Trading Centrals 10-9-69 for Eagle Paint and Panel. And, of course, our other sponsors too. EIG Ansvar, TJM Products for serious four-wheel drive enthusiasts, for Rebel Sport and State Security Services. The ball on the half-back line now for Centrals. They've got possession through Luke McCabe, who's been a pretty good player today, and finds Matty Slade. Dummies around his opponent in Vlatko. Did it pretty easily. And another one of those thumping 50-metre kicks in towards centre half forward. Free kick to be paid here to Thomas. This is Matthew Thomas, the young Port Power player, and he's been a good player today too. He really has developed. Now, will he get round an opponent? Yes, he will, because the player that came in to tackle him, Justin Westhoff, slipped at the crucial moment, so Thomas is able to clear down towards the wing. Comes off hands. The ball's on the ground. Centrals, though, look as though they'll trap it. No, they won't. It's Norwood, in fact, who break clear through James Gallagher, the former Adelaide Crow. That is a magnificent pass, although a good, spectacular defensive thump away there by Yves Sibanara. Has seen the ball go across the line and out of bounds. I thought was it Vlatko or was it Koshal? One of the two players, yeah. I thought he had it on the chest, and all of a sudden the fist was there to thump it away, Matthew.
It was good footy. It was a great lead. It was a great pass, but the defending just picked him at the last post and just got a fist in there, Yves Sibanala.
Sibanala now has got possession of the ball. He's going to go by hand to Wilson. Wilson takes a bounce running out of defence. He's under pressure here. He's going to handball to Griffin, who's also likewise under pressure, but Wilson has enough time and poised to pick possession of the ball up again. His handball misses his target, though, again in Graham on this occasion. Graham feeds back to McCabe, and Luke McCabe steadies the ship up and chips one in short to big Buckets. McKenzie, who takes the mark. Buckets kicks it towards half forward. Westhoff keeps his eye on the ball. Split the mark forward, though, to James Gowans. James Gowans tried to find O'Sullivan with a handball. Thomas should get a free for in the back on that occasion. He was in the right spot. He's playing a good game, and he releases Gallagher. His kick is awful. Dead set awful. Picked up by the Gowans boys. James handballs to Chris, and he chips inboard and finds O'Sullivan, who will line up for goal some 35 metres out, directly in front. And James Gallagher, not happy with himself, knows that turnover has resulted in this shot for goal now. And O'Sullivan, the player it is, who will line up, well, about 35 metres out, directly in front, and attempt to build on his side's 11-point lead.
What do you do in a situation like that, Matthew Dawes? I'll come back to that in a moment. We'll just wait for O'Sullivan to line up, and he comes. Kicks from around about that 35, 40 metres, and I think he's put that one through. Yes, he has. What will be his first goal for the afternoon in his 13th match, his 13th goal. And so Centrals go that little further ahead. 11 goals, 9, 75. Leading Norwood, 9-4-58. The big game here for our major sponsors, Eagle Paint and Panel. James Gallagher, it was a horrid kick. It just didn't, and he's normally a beautiful pass.
It was atrocious. Probably one of the most skillful players in our side, but I mean every player has those moments where he probably had a bit of a feeble instep and kicked it off the inside of his boot. But you see Bryce Campbell and Matt Thomas just got around him then to let him know that it's not the end of the world, and he'll bounce back.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do teammates usually do? I mean, sometimes nothing, but you need that encouragement when you're feeling down, don't you?
Exactly, because you're feeling absolutely terrible because it's the most obvious mistake probably of the day, but then they'll bounce back.
And there goes Campbell. I'd say that kick was almost a mistake, but he got 50 metres with it, a floater, and it floated right into the hands of Jamie Vlatko. I don't really believe in luck, but I get close to it when I see a kick like that. And Vlatko, he may have been looking for Vlatko, but the ball didn't quite come off the boot the way he intended. But Vlatko's taken the chest mark, 30 metres out from goal, directly in front. And if he can put this one through, it will be a much-needed goal for the Redlegs. Lining up for his 4th goal for the afternoon. Jamie Vlatko, recruited from Glenelg, and he comes, kicks for goal. He's put that one through, has the big forward. 4 goals straight this afternoon, and Norwood move on that at 10 goals 4, 64. But Trading Centrals, 11 goals 9, 75. The margin 11 points, and a real thriller down here at the parade at Norwood. The sun is shining. Is it going to keep shining for Norwood? What do you think, Matthew Dawes?
It was a bit of a Steve Kernahan special pass, that one from Bryce Campbell to Jamie Vlatko. Seemed to float all over the place, but landed on his lap at the last minute. And good for Jamie Vlatko. Yeah, like you said, kicked his 4th goal straight. And I think this next time on this last quarter, probably only got a couple of minutes, but it's certainly a crucial couple of minutes. You don't want Centrals to skip any further ahead.
We'll get some scores from around the ground soon from John as we find the ball is on the ground. Young Jonathan Griffin is down there.
Did I say a couple of minutes? I meant a couple of seconds.
You meant a couple of seconds. No, I knew what you meant. As soon as the siren sounded and John...
Just before I race out three-quarter time, I'll give you the...
Fees and charges apply. See store for details.
Last night, I heard a noise at my bedroom window. I was scared, so I got up and told Daddy. He went outside, but there was no one there.
Protect your family. You'd be surprised how little it costs to protect your family properly. But you need to start with good advice. So discuss your concerns with station sponsor State Security Services. They're fully Adelaide owned and operated, and no job is too big or too small. Learn more. Call 0500 850 022.
Sports Life.
Deep Pierre Domenico. It's pretty simple. Say it, Robbie.
G'day, this is Dougie Hawkins here on Sports Life.
You're a big fan on chocolate and ice cream?
Absolutely.
I'm John Cosmina from Adelaide United on Sports Life.
You've got a bit of a dental appointment tonight.
Well, apparently I talk too much.
I wanted to talk to you afterwards when you sounded...
G'day, it's Sean Wellman on Sports Life. I didn't even know those facts myself.
It's called research.
G'day, it's Robbie Bates from Adelaide United on Sports Life.
Hi, this is Jay Simmons. For the latest in sport, join me for Sports Life. Weekdays from 5.
Sports Life on Life FM.
Welcome back to the parade. Sorry, I was listening to that, and nothing to apologise for, but the game has got underway in the final quarter here at the parade. We've played just on a minute, and it's still 11 points the margin. Central District in front, 11-9, 75, leading Norwood 10-4, 64. Just very quickly keeping you up to date with those other scores around town. We've got North 19-9 over Port 9-5. Down at Unley Oval, it's the Eagles 20 goals 2 over Sturt, 8 goals 7. And down at the Bay, it's Glenelg 16-8, Westies 13-7. We know that Essendon and Carlton have had a draw over there in Melbourne, and it looks like Collingwood will take the points against West Coast Eagles as Paul Thomas holds his hand and is about to come off the ground. He's in a fair bit of pain, maybe a dislocation. Ooh, don't they hurt? As we find the ball is on the half-forward line now for Centrals, but coming out of defence, it will be... the Norwood boy there, a bit hard to pick him up. No, there he is, it's Brunoli. He's kicked the ball out of bounds on the full. There will be a free kick to be paid here to Centrals. John Simons is back from the three-quarter time huddles. John, I know you can't get real close, but what did you pick up?
Central's just wanted to stick with their tried and true methods here in the last quarter. Just keep your head over the ball, direct it in long, and have some crumbing players underneath our key forwards as we see Wilson take a mark inside 50 for Centrals, but nothing, no magical formula required in this last quarter. Just do the hard grinding things that we've done thus far to actually grind out a win. It's not going to be a pretty one, but it's the 2 points that'll count. From the Central side of things, the Norwood talk was really around generating some more ball from the clearances and trying to dominate those in this last quarter, needing to win the ball from those all-important clearances and backing the belief in your own skill level to have any chance to supersede Central's score in this last quarter. As Wilson's shot for goal has missed through for a minor score on that occasion to Adrian Wilson. So the opening score in the final quarter going to the Doggies. They are now 11 goals, 10, 76. Norwood at 10-4, 64. The legs have brought it straight back into play. Colpert handles towards the ground looking for Brett James. Missed the target on that occasion, but James coolly just delivers the ball towards half forward. It's taken by Jackman. He'll send Norwood in long. Gibson nudged out of the contest, couldn't get a run at it. He might end up with the crumbs as the ball spills for him. He has a shot on goal, but he was pushed by Curry on that occasion, and O'Sullivan is able to relieve the pressure for the Doggies. Runs hard out of defensive 50, has a couple of bounces and then kicks long. Is it out of bounds on the full? No. Lower spoils McCabe. On that occasion, Lower jumped higher and was able to affect the spoil out of bounds for a boundary throw in slightly forward to centre for the Doggies. Grandstand centre wing for Eagle Paint and Panel. We've played 2 minutes in the opening term, and the Doggies lead it by 12 points. We'll have to watch the time clock for those here at the Oval. It says 5 minutes played, but I reckon it's not quite all the way back at quarter time. We've only played a couple of minutes, Doug.
Only a couple of minutes. Lower jumps higher. I was working on that one too, John, but you beat me to it as we find it's going to be Norwood now going forward through Nitschke. He's got the boy Koshel on the lead. And Adam Koshel, the 19-year-old giant, has taken the mark out in front of his eyes. There was no chance of Eve Sibonata sporting on that occasion. So he's got this mark about 40 metres out from goal. almost directly in front, and a chance to bring Norwood that little bit closer. Trying to get the moment by 12 points. And here we are in the early stages of the final quarter. Around about 5 minutes have gone. And for Eagle Payton Panel, he lines up, kicks for goal, big thumping kick. It looks all right. It is all right. 3 goals straight this afternoon, which is a pretty fair return in his 7th match. It's his 13th goal. And so Norwood now just 6 points in arrears of Centrals. The Bulldogs, 11 goals, 10, 76. And it is Norwood who are 11 goals for 70. Matthew Dawes, promising start.
Definitely. We were talking in the three-quarter time break about efficiency in front of goal. We saw Wilson miss his goal about a couple of minutes ago from exactly the same position at the other end of the ground from where Adam Koshel slotted that one through, and I think that's really going to be a telling point in the next 20 minutes.
Umpire now with the ball, throws it up once again. The big fellas do battle. Scholar and Nicholas, a hand pass came out there from Crouch, gets it across to Borlase, goes down towards half forward, and Heath Culpet, the boy recruited from Glenelg, but of course played AFL at Carlton. In towards centre half forward he goes, and the mark's been taken by Gibson. Within kicking distance, this is Gibson. Waiting now for this shot for goal.
I think McKenzie and Sibonala may have clashed heads then in that marking contest as well, which didn't help that matters for Centrals.
As big Jason McKenzie gets up, he's just been given a wet rag, it seems, just to brush himself down. He's walking his way.
Got some blood. Yeah, they clashed heads.
So there might be some delay here as we wait for Gibson. Has the ball under his hand. 6 points the margin. We've got Centrals in front. 5 minutes roughly into the final quarter. As umpire Colin Ralston says to the Centrals boy, Big Griffin, hey, get onto the ground. But, boy, this is a crucial kick in the context of the game, Matthew Dawes.
Absolutely. Chad Gibson's a pretty reliable kick in front of goal, but he hasn't actually played much footy this year, so it'll be a big telling point.
He's still on the Crows list, isn't he?
Yes,
that's right. We haven't heard a lot of him, of course, at that level. And he comes now, 50 metres out. That's a thumping kick. No worries about the distance, but it's off target. But I tell you what, John Simons, that could be a handy point. Norwood, 11-5, 71. Centrals, 11 goals, 10, 76. 5 points the margin
So
in a real thriller.
Early, Doug. You've gone for it early as O'Sullivan goes by hand now to Swatala. Is the outer side of the ground, chips in short. McCabe picked the half volley up well, but his handball was a turnover. Jackman for Norwood sends his handball long to Gibson. He fends off Central's opponent and then goes by hand now towards Brett James. His kick is looking to be precise to spot up Vlatko. Vlatko did well against the odds, 1-on-2. Took possession of the ball cleanly, kicked it long. Koshel just got nudged under the ball by Sibonala on that occasion. He was at the top of the square, literally, but he couldn't get the mark, and Sibonala took possession of the ball and settles things down now via Chris Gowans, and Lee Westhoff has taken the mark. He's going to go back towards the top of the square defensively to release Stewie Cochran to the outer side of the ground. He's got an option out wide in Luke McCabe. McCabe takes the mark out of centre wing for the Doggies. They lead it by 5 points early stages of the last quarter, 5 minutes in. He chips short, does McCabe. Finds Elijah Ware. Ware's going to chip it back to McCabe. Hard running from Luke McCabe in these late stages of the game in the last quarter. Good, hard, solid running. He's got a big engine, McCabe, and he's making big use of it at the moment. Takes the mark 70 metres out from goal. Scoreboard pocket for the Doggies. Chips in short, looking for Westhoff, but Thomas read it well and chipped in front of the leading Justin Westhoff, who is the leading goal kicker on the ground today with 4, equaling Jamie Vlatko for Norwood. And Thomas chips in short, and it's still in front of the Eagle Paint and Panel scoreboard there where Culpet has taken the mark. He's looking to switch play. He's going to have to pick the right option here because Centrals are manning up pretty well, and Culpet sort of hemmed himself into a corner now, but the space opens up now, and Lower slips into the space and takes the mark in the lower half-back region for the Norwood Footy Club.
As he finds Jackman. Jackman now will find Dygan. Now racing through from half-back. He takes 1 bounce, takes 2 bounces. He's going to take them on. He's taken 3 bounces.
Yeah,
now he's lost the ball. He's still got it. He's got control again. That was spectacular stuff. He lost control, but the mark's going to be paid. No, it's not. The Norwood supporters won't like that one. The ball's on the ground. A tackle's applied there by Big Gibson. And I tell you what, all that crowd, they went up there, all those crowd who were being recuperating just behind them over there on the hill, and it is going to be a ball up now with the big fellas doing battle. Nicholas gets the tap out. Here's a chance for Norwood. No, it's gone just out of bounds as Scotty Borlase picks it up and hands it to the boundary umpire. But I'd love to see play. It may not be the team thing, I don't know, Matthew Dawes, but boy, it's good when players take on the opposition.
They do. I reckon Nick Duggan probably feels like he's just stepped off the gravitron after that 360.
Nicholas takes possession of the ball, grabs it from the ruck, gets a kick towards the top of the square. Sibanala was well tackled, spills out to Nitschke. Chance for Norwood now as this comes out to Brett James. Steadies up, chips in short to Campbell. It wasn't 15. Umpire said play on. Handball to Carsley. Gets a shot on goal, but it goes down the players' race and out of bounds on the full. So no score change in the scoreboard. We have now gone 8, perhaps 9 minutes in the final quarter. Norwood 11-5-71. Central's 11-10-76. 5-point margin. A thriller at the parade. The kick in from Central's looking for Gibson. In actual fact, Griffin, Colpert did well to affect the spoil and managed to get the ball out of bounds. And, well, it may have been deliberate, but got the benefit of the doubt from the umpire at that stage. I don't think he wanted to pay the free against the legs in front of those vociferous supporters on Cooper's Hill, Doug Oakley.
I think that's a fair comment. I prefer to see that interpretation of the rule too. If you thumped it, I think the general interpretation of the umpires over here is if you make some ground for your team, then let it be. And I reckon that's good ruling as McCabe got the hand pass away to Swatara. Beautiful kick of the football. Goes down towards the wing. In fact, it's gone over the head of the players when somebody thumped it away there, and it will be a throw in. Dyken's still running around though. It must be a fairly fit sort of a lad, Matthew.
He's fantastic. He's quite a quick player for his size. He's actually had a lot of hamstring problems over the last 2 or 3 years, but he's really got himself right and playing some fantastic footy this last month.
I'm not sure how many bounces he's had at league level though, just watching that technique.
He's actually had a few, but it's not getting any better.
As the legs now have the opportunity to take possession of the ball, Bailey it is who kicks it long. Colpert's didn't get to the contest on that occasion. Curry did. He swallowed the ball, did Curry, and sends it towards half forward. Daniel Shell takes a very strong mark. The kick came in from where after Curry had fed him, and Shell will line up for goal now, some 50 metres out. And the way he thumped the ball for goal at the southern end in the third quarter, you would have to suggest he's a very, very strong chance to get the journey here. And as long a run-up as his is to kick it, Nick Dyken is having just as long a run-up here at the attempted smother. Watch this one. He's going to launch himself at it. As Shell has the long kick for goal, he's almost going to get there. It slips across the face of goal. Westhoff. No. Sculler it might be. It is. Big Sculler nestled in amongst the behind post has taken the all-important mark for the Central District side. 11 minutes into the final quarter. They are still leading it only narrowly by 5 points at this point in time. And it will now be big Paul Sculler to have the shot on goal. He's going to have to play on and try and curl one around. He does that. He's missed it though. In fact, he hasn't scored. Doug Oakley won't be able to give his state favourite last quarter standard line and call it a handy point because it didn't register one. And there's still no change in the score. The Doggies lead it by 5 points. 12 minutes played in the final stanza, Doug.
Yeah, I shouldn't be saying that today because Matthew Dawes has really tried hard to make it cliche-free as we find the kick now comes out to Bailey for Norwood. He in turn looks further ahead here for Nick Jackman. Hasn't he played, or hasn't his form been so good since cementing his place across that half-back line there for Norwood? Trying to trap it here, we find his Crouch. He can't do so. And Adam Swatara running very close to the brick wall on the members' side. There's a bald-headed man in front of us is certainly showing his, I'm not sure if it's pleasure or displeasure. He's jumping up, he's tapping his hands, he's up again on his feet, and he'll burst into a theme song in a moment before he knows it. As we find the action back now on the ground, though, it's going to be Gowans, gets it out to Slade. Slade kicks down towards half forward, a couple of Central boys down there, and O'Sullivan takes the mark. 60 metres out, takes one bounce, takes two bounces, I think. Yes, he's at 40 metres now. I reckon he might goal. No, it's a point. And that makes the margin now one straight kick. Central's 11-11, Norwood 11-5, and we have played around about 14 minutes in the final quarter. The kick out marked by Zorzi goes with a hand pass across there to Bailey, and Norwood have got control. We will keep on with this here. Matthew Dawes, a thriller, and some bad misses perhaps.
It certainly is. This game's really opened up now. It only looks like there's about 10 players out in the ground. There's that much space.
Vlatko has taken the mark for Norwood, about 40 metres out. He'll kick from 45. 5. And kicking down towards the parade end, big long shadows across the ground, just superb conditions. Probably a little bit harder for players as they look towards the northern end with the sun, the low winter sun in their eyes on occasions, but just been superb conditions. Not too hot, not too cold. Sounds like an ad for a brekkie cereal. In he comes. Jamie Vlatko. Will this be goal number 5? Yes, I think it is. Scores are locked together. 77 apiece. 12-5 Norwood 77, Central's 11-11 77. We have got a thriller down here at Norwood Oval for Eagle Paint and Panel. More comments. I don't know what else you can think of, Matthew Dawes, but whatever it is, share it.
It's going the way you'd hope a good game like this would. Going to go right down to the wire. Like we said, it's been quite a seesawing affair for the first 3 quarters, and it'd be a shame to see one of the teams blow it apart, but it looks like it's going to go right down to the wire. All the fans getting their money's worth.
They certainly are getting their money's worth, and I know it must be hard as a former Norwood vice-captain sitting here in a tense game like this. Norwood come away, and Brett James, who's been a wonderful player today, kicks down towards half forward. Oh, it's going to be taken by Koshal. This will put Norwood in front. He's kicked a goal, has the big man Mountain. That's his 4th goal for the afternoon. The Red Leg supporters are beside themselves, which is not surprising because you're not probably going to find player supporters from other teams beside you. As we find it is Norwood now, 13 goals, 5, 83. Leading Centrals, 11-11, 77. And here we are now at the 16-minute mark of the final quarter. I tell you what, we've got the close one, to use a cliche, Matthew.
We do. We were talking at the start of the game that it's probably going to be a game where a lot of midfielders kick goals. I'm just looking at the stats at the moment. It's pretty much predominantly, I reckon, 75% of the goals have been come from the main 2 forwards from each team.
Yeah, when you made that comment at the start, I thought, what a silly comment.
No, it was actually John.
And he's not listening at the moment. He's gathering a few scores from elsewhere. John Simons.
Well, I have, Doug, and final scores over in the AFL. Collingwood defeated West Coast by 37 points with Chris Tarrant kicking 4. Draw at the MCG, 105 apiece, Carlton and Essendon. Lucas kicked 6 for Essendon and Favola 5 for Carlton. And around the grounds locally, North Adelaide 21-10, 136, leading Port Adelaide 9. 761, that's a margin of 75 points. The Eagles are 24 goals, 3, 147. Amazing kicking, leading the Sturt 9, 761 by 86 points. Mark Passador has kicked 8, as we'll just stick with the players. Centrals go forward inside 50, mopped up now by Norwood with Westhoff applying a tackle there, and also Ware, and the umpire will come in and bounce it down. So it's a 6-point lead still here to Norwood, 13-5, 83. Centrals 11-11, 77. At only Mark Passador has kicked 8, and at Glenelg Oval it is Glenelg 19-9, 123, leading West Adelaide by 29 points to a 14-10, 94. So we have the thriller here at Cooper Stadium. Norwood 13-5, 83, leading Centrals 11-11, 77. We have played 18 minutes in the final quarter. Doug Oakley.
It's Norwood now defending grimly. Centrals have got it in their attacking zone, 40 metres out from goal. Umpire comes in and says it will be yet another ball up. So here we are, almost 20 minutes into the final quarter. 6 points the margin. The Redlegs in front. What a game we've got here at Norwood. There's the tap out there. It may have been Scooter who got the tap out. The ball's on the ground. Norwood there through Brett James. Went with the hand pass. Couldn't burst his way through a pack, or couldn't thread it through a pack. Again, a big pack of players fall on top of it. Goodness gracious me. This is like a game between, well, it's almost rugby league the way. And there's another scrum, you might say, developing, Matthew Dawes.
There's a big scrum down there. Some big bodies going around too.
There are some huge bodies down there, aren't they? And the ball is on the ground. Once again, the umpire just letting things go, letting it go as much as he can. There's a hand pass that came out there to Thomas, tried to get it away, a snapshot for goal by Slade. It comes off the hands of the pack, and Norwood, will they burst their way clear from defence? I think they've got control, not quite. Player might have been grabbed a bit high. Umpire says it will be mine. There will be yet another ball up. And Chris Gowan's frustrated with that one. He was hoping there might have been a free kick. Umpire throws the ball up. It's Big Paul Scooter and Tim Nicholas. The ball's knocked across, but O'Sullivan's got it there. For Central's, a snapshot for goal, and it's gone out of bounds on the full. So a relieving kick, and probably from a spectator's point of view, a clean break. And we've been looking forward to that one, Matthew.
Definitely. I reckon there's probably only been about 5 possessions in the last 2 minutes of play. It's just been tapping from one place to the other.
Norwood have got possession of the ball, so let's see. They're still hemmed in the defensive back pocket there. scoreboard side of the ground. Thomas it is who kicks it out wide. He finds Lower. It's a good kick, spotted him up and clears the ball out of the dangerous defensive 50 for the Norwood side. They're leading it by 6 points. They trailed by 13 points at quarter time, by 6 points at half time, by 11 points at three-quarter time, and they have hit the front in the final quarter here, playing in front of their faithful crowd here at Norwood Oval. Lower's kick, well, didn't give a Norwood player a chance to even compete at that one. It's safely marked on the chest by Griffin for the Central District side. So we'll send them forward to centre now. Kicks it long, gains 45, perhaps 50 metres for his side. Thomas jumps high, gets in front of Shell and Slade and takes a wonderful defensive mark. He has been super impressive in the back half of the ground for the Norwood side today. He's going to chip the ball across goal. They don't necessarily need to take those risks at the moment, Norwood, but he goes to Campbell and he's going to chip it back to Thomas and chewed up a little bit of time on the clock. Gee, it's early days to be doing that, boys. Matty Dawes.
Yeah, definitely. Matty Thomas, we're only at the 20-minute mark of the quarter, and it seems like it's gone forever, but they really need to keep their attacking footing going for this next 5 minutes.
Thomas kicks it long. Sculler can't take the marker. Pack develops, and Norwood looking for the boundary line. Can't quite get it there. Griffin picks it up. Goes by hand aware. Steps around a couple. Chips it in board now to O'Sullivan. He's going to kick it inside 50. Daniel Shell well positioned to take the mark. Spills it. Zorzi's right there with him. Applies the tackle, and the umpire will come in and bounce it up. The Norwood crowd cheering for holding the ball. The Central crowd behind the goals there, wondering whether Shell had taken the mark. Their view was masked of the actual contest, and Dygan doesn't like the decision here of the umpire. He's been told to go off with the blood rule. He tried to contest that decision without any luck, and Norwood will be forced to make an unwanted change here late in the last quarter as the doctor, Chopper Verrill, is going to come on and play. Is it he's just going to wipe it clean? Well, that's interesting. That's interesting, and that's controversial. Now, the umpires won't allow it because he didn't come off.
They're saying he has to go off, but he's got absolutely no blood on him.
But that's fair, so fair enough. They've just cleared it off. Why? Let's let common sense prevail. Colin Ralston checking it twice, and he's going to be allowed to stay in the play now. Get on with it, the crowd says, and get on with it, the umpiring fraternity will now. Well done, Chopper Verrill. Is it still? He's still the club doctor there, Matty?
Chopper Verrill, yeah.
And he's done the right thing there and done very, very well there to get the Norwood player back on the ground in Dygan. James Gowan picks up the ball, goes by hand to Sculler. He's looking for McKay. Strongly tackled by Campbell. The umpire's paid it high. Well, I'm not sure about that one here.
True to form.
It didn't look high. There's not a lot of arguing going on from the Norwood players. I guess what good is it going to do? Bryce Campbell not happy with the decision on that occasion. Trevor Hill emotionless, cast in the role of the coach there, just having to monitor what's going out on the ground. But Luke McCabe, he's a pretty good set shot for goal from 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Drills the goal and scores a level at the parade. Norwood are 13-5-83. Central District are 12. Let's have a look. 12-11-83. Luke McCabe ties things up, and we have played. Well, look, we've played 22 minutes on the scoreboard clock. There's some conjecture over whether that is the right time. It wouldn't be far off. It might only be a minute or so out. So we'll call it correct time and correct weight, Doug. And I'll tell you what implications a draw would have on the premiership ladder, because it would take percentage right out of the equations for both of these clubs.
So there's the ball up to get play underway. Young Griffin it was who got the tap out. Free kick to Central District, as Chris Gowans it was who was grabbed a little bit high on that occasion. Not much doubt about that one. So Chris Gowans now will drop the ball short out here to Wilson on the wing. And Adrian Wilson now, son of Wilbur. He's a beautiful left foot kick, and he'll drive it long, he'll drive it deep. He's got someone on the lead there, Thomas. But it's going to be a mark to Thomas. Hasn't he been a good player today? We're going to do some votes at the end of the match, and I reckon young Matthew Thomas is going to come into contention. I reckon he's played a wonderful game. I guess you tend to notice younger players more so, but he's been exceptional. Those with a lot of maturity and a beautiful pair of hands. In he comes, kicks the ball down towards the wing. Koshel from behind, no. Perhaps should have gone for the punch. Young Griffin had the front position. Interesting, the two young guns there, the two young big ruckmen, both wearing number 1. And both, one 19 years of age, one 20. Young Griffin, recruited from East Fremantle for the Crows, actually. And then in the mini draft, picked up by Centrals. He's a lovely kick, too. In towards centre half forward he goes. Going to be taken away by the Central defenders. No, free kick to Centrals. James Gowans, a little bit too high. There's about 3 tackles that have been just too high. And
Shell's free here.
Shell is free. There's the kick there from Gowans in towards. Oh, no, good mark in defence by Norwood. A Norwood mark across half back. And the boy getting up, taking that mark there is...
Brinoli.
It is Brinoli. Young Brinoli, there's his kick. Gets under it a little bit, but it's effective. And he's found Bailey on the outer side of the ground. What's he going to do? He's waiting for players to lead. He's got Dygan out there. He's probably going to be the one he'll kick to. Yes, he does. It's a good kick. Dygan it was who was off. Umpire says play on, but he managed to get it away there to his teammate in Nick Jackman. That's a good kick, that one by Jackman too, along the ground, but gathering about 40 metres. Norwood have got control now. Can they build something up here? Here's a chance as Culpet runs inside 50, and Heath Culpet a long shot for goal. Up they go. It's going to be thumped through, and Norwood have hit the front by 1 point. Here we are, 25 minutes of the quarter gone. My heart's starting to beat a little bit. What about you, Matthew Dawes?
Is that the handy point we were talking about before, John? There it is.
Come on, Doug, there it was.
He missed his chance.
That could be, Matt, I don't want to use the cliche, but that could be a handy point.
The Dog's got to take it straight up the middle here. Wilson's looking out to the sides, but why would you? Just kick it long to Griffin. He's standing up against Jackman. You've got to back the big fella in. He goes short now to Cochrane. Needed to play on, didn't. Now releases Wilson by hand. Wilson's going to run the ball out of side defensive 50. The Dogs are behind by a point. 25 minutes played in the last quarter. Kicks a long Westhoff, flies high where? Does the crumbing and then tries to barge his way through. The umpire says no. There was no... Well, he lent into the tackle, but he had no chance to get rid of the ball as well. And the correct decision made. We have got four minutes left to play here at Norwood Oval, so it's going to go at least 30 minutes, which suggests that the clock is slightly ahead of itself, as we mentioned earlier. So the Legs lead it by a point. It's taken now by Carslake, kick smothered. There is a host of players at this contest, and it is only some 10, perhaps 15 metres from our broadcast position here, 107.9 Life FM. We're here with, thanks to Eagle Paint and Panel, 27 minutes played in the final quarter. Norwood 13-6-84, Central's 12-11-83. The ball goes up and bounces before any player can contest it. Jackman well tackled then by Griffin over the boundary line, so we'll see another stoppage. It is a thriller here. The game could not be any closer, having a margin between the sides. It's 1 point. Griffin grabs it well, does it very well out of the ruck against Jackman, surprisingly, in the ruck contest. Kicks it long to half forward. Slade beaten by the best man on the ground, the cool-headed, power-listed Matty Thomas takes the mark just narrowly inside defensive 50 for his side. He's going to kick it long to the lead of Jackman. Jackman takes the chest mark, and Heath Culpet tells him just to slow it down. Slow it down, son. I think Colby's going to give him the little lead once it tied up the boundary line. But Jackman trying to chew up a few more valuable seconds. No one's on the mark. He's got Carslake short. Now he looks for Colbert, and he can't take the mark. It slips off the boots of Big Koshel and across the boundary line. Still in front of our broadcast post here. Grandstand centre wing, Norwood Oval. The Legs lead it by the narrowest of margins over the reigning premier. They're 1 point up. We've got 2.5 minutes to play, and Doug Oakley's going to drive us home.
Well, I'll do my best anyway. The ball is going to be in the hands of the umpire. Get another ball up. And this spectator down in front of us, I tell you what, he is so enthusiastic, isn't he? Look at him. Wonderful. The passion is showing with everybody. 1 point the margin. Norwood in front. Must be only about 2.5 minutes left in the game. It's Chris Gowans in towards centre half forward. Westhoff almost took the mark. It was on the ground. Taken away though by Norwood. It was, in fact, Brett James in towards centre half forward. Curry goes up one-handed. Couldn't take the mark. Charging his way through there. It's a Norwood player there in Koshel. He's thrown off the ball. Umpire says play on. Big Mackenzie's in there. He can't burst his way clear. It's midway between wing and half forward. In fact, it's on the half forward line for Norwood. They've got it now through Colpet. Colpet's going to drop the ball down here to Black. Go! Couldn't take the mark, but a chance for Norwood. I think they've kicked it behind. And I tell you what, in the context of the game, that could be a very handy point. 2 points the margin now. We've got Norwood in front.
Norwood now, they move on to, let's have a look, Central's a 12-11-83. The Legs are 13-7-85. The Doggies got to take it straight up the guts in old-fashioned terminology. Thomas plays on, runs, gains about 20 metres from the kick-out, kicks it out towards the outer centre wing. Chris Gowans can't take the mark. Colpert competing with Lee Westhoff there, just trying to create a contest and create a ball up, and he has successfully done so. As we see James Gowans just limping off. He's got some cramp, and he just can't see the contest out at the moment. He's going to have to come off off and get a player on the ground that can run. He's in an enormous amount of discomfort. Be replaced by Quinton Graham at a crucial stage of this final quarter contest. The legs are doing enough at the moment. Graham sneaks forward, actually. He's got an extra man forward now, taking a punt to try and win the game. Clever play from Quinton Graham. Boundary throw in, outer side of the ground. Sculler thumps it forward. Can a doggy player run onto it? Chris Gowans is there, gets the handball up now to Slade. Slade kicks it forward. Where's Graham? Shell's there, spills the mark. Zorzi affects the spoil. Gallagher is well tackled, gets a kick out towards Graham. Could he blow out himself a hero? Gets a shot on goal. It's going to go through for a point. Through for a minor score, but it won't register because the free kick goes against Griffin, to his Adelaide Crow listed teammate and ruck compatriot out of that club in Johnny Meeson. And he will take the free kick on the absolute very last line of defence. 31 minutes played. The legs lead it by 2 points. Meeson kicks it out wide. Thomas almost clutches a one-hander. Lee Westhoff takes possession though, tries to handball the ball back inside forward 50. He can't do so. Thomas again emerges with the ball, finds Bailey, and the Albie Menzel lookalike wrestles with the boundary line and then kicks it long outside the outer centre wing, and Sibanela has the better of Jamie Vlatko on that occasion, and he will send the Dogs back inside forward 50. Almost kicks it short instead to Lee Westhoff. He's got a player free in Stewie Cochrane. He gives it to him. Cochrane kicks it to the top of the square. Shell's going to fly high. Zorzi punches the ball and it doesn't go through for a behind. It is through for a boundary throw in. We have got 30 seconds to play, just under 30 seconds to play on the time clock. Norwood a 13-7-85. Central's a 12-11-83. 2-point margin as well. The siren sounded prematurely. Hang on, that wasn't supposed to go. That wasn't supposed to go. And we have drama here at Norwood Oval. Trevor Hill's jumping up and down. The siren wasn't supposed to sound. They've pulled their finger off the siren, and the umpires have heard the siren and are walking off. And the security are coming on. Colin Ralston's looking up at the time clock. It is supposed to go for another 30 seconds. Chris Grant is jumping up and down. There is mayhem here. The umpire, we're trying to get a message over to say there's 30 seconds still to play. It was a mistake. The game is going to have to restart. I've never seen anything like it, Doug. I'll keep going here because they're calling the players back to say that the game is still on. There was still about 30 seconds left, and the umpires are going back to say we have to restart it. Well, common sense has won out, but the siren was accidentally hit. I've never seen anything like it. The song is playing in the background. Trevor Hill has left his coach's box. Roy Laird is still there on the phone, and there is 2 seconds to go from Warren Partland. Thanks for the information there. They're going to restart play. 2 seconds. Ball up. Here we go. 1, 2. Wait for the siren. There's another contest, and there it goes. And belatedly now, Norwood has won the game, so the right procedures have run out and we have finished the contest. Norwood Centrals did have a chance to score in the end. Goodness me, imagine if they had have done so, but they didn't, and Norwood have run out winners. 13 goals, 7-85. Central Districts 12-11-83. A 2-point margin. I've never seen anything like that in all my days in footy. Doug, I know you've covered a lot of footy as well. If you come across an example like that, we'll go through the goal kickers shortly.
I haven't. The only thing close to it was when 2 teams kicked to the one end at the start of a match, but that's another story. This is just, and John will get some scores from the other games. But in the final analysis, full credit there to Colin Ralston and the umpires, to my way of thinking. I don't know what the rules say, but common sense prevailed, and they got the game going again. It was played out to the time that it was meant to be, and so Norwood have won the clash. Controversial circumstances, but a fantastic game of SANFL football. And Norwood 13-7-85 defeated Central's 12-11-83 after the siren was, we suspect, accidentally sounded about 3 seconds before the final time as the goal umpires sprint off the ground. I love that. I love that sprint that they do. We'll go through the goal kickers in a moment.